resource persons, including our HOD sir. And we have Senior Professor D. Chennappa sir, HOD, and he's also the Director of Workshop. And the second speaker will be having Senior Professor V. Apparao sir, Board of Studies Chairman. He will join soon, and we'll be having Dr. Kankipati Srinivas. He is from Degree College, Kukatpalli Degree College. He will be joining the second session, and we'll be having Professor A. Patrick. He will be joining as third person. So this is all about the program, and we'll be having the detailed discussion of each and every session. The student should know first what is the project report preparation and how the research methodology and how the topic is selecting and what are the titles, how the guides are giving the advices. This are all we'll see. So before that, I request our HOD sir to start with inaugural opening remarks. Over to Professor D. Chennappa sir.
Yeah, good morning to one and all. Thank you, Professor Indrakanth Sekar. I welcome Chairman Board of Studies, Professor V. Apparao. I welcome Dean Faculty of Commerce, Professor M. Gangadhar. I welcome the resource persons, Dr. Kankipati Srinivas Rao, Dr. Anthony Patrick, and the most important persons to make it this program, Dr. Gajendra, Dr. Jansi, and without participation of all the faculty members and students, this program we cannot do it. So in this regard, I welcome one and all for this one-day workshop on MCOM project report preparation. Again, dear participants, before coming to online, day before yesterday, we had a meeting with all the PG teachers. We expressed that why this workshop should be there. Again, why this workshop should be online. Actually, we thought of conducting offline, but due to convenience for to the students, and again coming to the off-late to campus, again that may be certain expenditure may be incurred. To avoid that, we have gone to the online stream. I welcome Professor V. Apparao, Chairman Board of Studies also.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
So that we had a meeting with the faculty members who unanimously, they stated that we have to address the students rather than to teachers. In this regard, we have given a link well in advance, 8 days before we have sent the link, and almost all 850 students, they have registered. As of now, in YouTube also, there are 850 students are watching now. And really, I felt very, very happy. Okay, then in the YouTube, there are 850 students, and coming to this, even into the Zoom platform, around 91 plus, including to the head, BY chairman, and dean, our faculty members, and the resource persons. Why this exercise? Again, the question is, big question is there, do we need this kind of workshops or online workshops or not? For that reason, or it could be called as the objectives of this program are, number one is to increase the quality of the research work. The research work means I know that you are into the MCOM 4th semester, your project work. Again, second one is there to bring out the originality in your project report. Whenever the date will come, definitely you are rushing towards to the means, students rushing towards to the Xerox centers or libraries, just they are bringing out, copied, pasting, typing. Again, we don't have the timings. The faculty members also, we don't have the timings. Whatever things you bring it, definitely we will sign it. Again, the examiner will come. Again, the examiner is also don't have the time, and examiner also doesn't want to fail any students because of we have the concern about MCOM courses and MCOM students. So therefore, in this background, to we Department of Commerce, it wants to have about the original project with a little quality. Okay, and that could be the main motto of this one-day online workshop on MCOM project report preparation, coordinated by the our Professor Indrakanti Sekar. Then, as I told you that Professor Indrakanti Sekar, he also briefed about the program. Professor Apparao sir is going to speak about the research design. Then Kankipati Srinivas Rao methodology. Then Patrick is going to speak about scaling and testing of hypothesis. Again, at the end, I may be coming and talking about how to prepare a project report, or in terms, it can be called as a report writing. Then the final again, Professor Indrakanti Sekar will come and verify the titles. Titles are allotted or not. They are going to be
allotted, sir.
Yeah, they will check it and again confirming it. That is the motto for to organize this program. Then look about this. Why again the basic fundamental question is there. Then why it is there? Why means what the department is facing challenge. The Department of Commerce, not only in Telangana, and entire in United Andhra Pradesh, even India also, we are facing some problem. What kind of problem this India is facing, particularly regarding to the post-graduation education? Now you look about to the undergraduate education. It is very clear. Once they completed the undergraduate degrees, they are getting the employment, but they did not bother for the post-graduation. Around 40,000 students each and every year from Usman University and affiliated colleges, they are getting the degrees. But while coming to the MCOM admissions, earlier it was 5,000, 4,000, 3,000. Now this academic year is only 850 there. So year after year, the admissions in MCOM are declining. The reasons are many. We inquired about it. What could be the reasons? Again, immediately they stated that there are no placement for MCOM. Again, they stated that the fees is 33,000 rupees, is very closer to the MBA. Paying to the additional 7,000, they would like to go to the MBA rather coming to the MCOM. Again, they mentioned that this MCOM course is also become as a very passive course. Again, what is the passive course means? Just teachers will come. If may not come. Just you are coming, you may not come. You are attending or not attending. Exams are coming, you are writing, and we are giving them memos. It is like a very, very conventional and traditional course. Though it is a very wonderful course, MCOM is a very core subject. Employability is there for this program. Despite the fact that again it has become as one of the conventional courses. Again, I would like to mention that we have the very great subject, GST, cost accounting, accounting standards, financial management, but there is no application. There is no activity based of teaching is there. Only the teaching is also only chalk and talk teaching is there. Therefore, it has become a great challenges to retain and sustain, to improve the quality of the MCOM course and to provide the quality education of the commerce to the students. In this regard, the Usman University, Department of Commerce, and our own faculty members, and who are logged in by all affiliated college faculty members, and who are actively participating students, with your participation, with your active interest, showing to that we would like to strengthen this course in terms of as a Department of Commerce, as a university, or a Telangana State Council for Higher Education, or Government of Telangana, we have taken certain steps to improve the quality of the MCOM course. In this direction, so first what I have done is, then first we made it as any graduate can come and take the MCOM admissions, because we want to say that all graduates can come. And very recently, our chairman, Professor V. Apparao, organized the syllabus revision committee. In that syllabus revision committee, very best of the best, world best, topmost universities, whatever the syllabus they are adopting, same syllabus, we are bringing into that. We are going to be revising the syllabus. And most of the advanced computer-based technological papers also we would like to introduce in this regard. Reason is, we have taken up the revision of the syllabus like FinTech, WORM, or applications of the statistical tools through using about the computers. Then again, we would like to address about the placement very soon, that when you are completing, you are writing about the 4th semester examination, definitely we will work out to the placement. Again, then we would like to have the strengthen the project report quality. To strengthen the project report quality, very recently we had a meeting that, in that meeting also we have taken steps to introduce about the internship. Internship, we would like to introduce about it. Under the internship, it may be 8 days or 3 days or 1 day. Again, you know that even the BCom, where just now I mentioned that 40,000 students are there. Even the 40,000 students, for them also internship is there. For them also the project work is also there. For MCOM students, only 850 is there. That is quite easy. You are highly matured students. I can tell you that internship is just like it is a application oriented. Suppose nearby your college, any mall is there, go and see there how the customers behavior. Any mall is there, how they are maintaining the accounts. Just kindly check it, note it down, and any manager or floor level manager is also be there. He can sign it and he can put a or give a one certificate. That certificate we are going to be treated as an internship. So if you go to any concerned company, any chartered accountant, any company or any malls, any SMEs or any industries, anywhere else at all. So many venues are available. So many startups are there. Now you can go to the II, Telangana Technological Hub, even B Hub also has come up. So many hubs created by the Telangana government. Just you leg out, step out from colleges for 1 or 2 days. Definitely you are going to access to the application. You are going to be have about the realities, what is going to be there between to the books and the market. In this background, to strengthen the project quality by introducing about the internship and giving the titles. So the last time that we have given the freedom to the faculty members, we have given to the freedom to the students also. We have given the freedom, but students are not taken a call. They have not come up with the new titles at all. Therefore, this time we are allotting the titles. Of course, by end of the speeches, Professor Indrakanti Sekhar, in collaboration with the faculty members, is going to be allotting to the titles. In that title only, how to do that. Again, we would like to consolidate 850 titles. All 850 students are there. We would like to consolidate it. After consolidating that, any overlapping is there, again those people will be called, and again we are expecting that to take up some other title, other kind of the title. But we want to see that we are spending our time. We are now, you see that the entire program you take from to the Professor Apparao to last persons, even Gajendra, last MCOM student is a zero financial based. No one is. We are contributing our time for the benefit to the MCOM students, to provide the quality education, to bring out the original project report. And this regard, in this vigor, in this contest, I welcome one and all. And again, by going back to the titles, again, suppose we have given some title is there. That title may not suit to you, but you can modify. Not like that. Whatever the title we have given, you have to follow into or not like that. According to the local needs, according to local resources, whatever the resources are available, please make use of those resources and come out at least with the 40 pages. Out of the 40 pages, at least introduction and review of literature, profile or theoretical background, all are available in textbooks. At least 10 pages your own. If we are coming it definitely as a head Department of Commerce, and my senior faculty members, chairman and dean who is a coordinator, and Patrick and Kankipati Srinivas, Gajendra and Jansi madam, and all faculty members, we feel very happy when you are coming out with the original outcome. In this background, I really thank you very much. I welcome one and all, including the students, 850 students, and the around 91 faculty members, and around 10 resource persons, and back-end admin. I welcome one and all for this one-day workshop for MCOM project report preparations, and I wish you good luck. And I'm expecting that at least some changes will come from this academic year. Thank you very much. Over to the coordinator, Professor Indrakanti Sekhar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, in the inaugural session, I request Senior Professor V. Apparao, sir, to give the message for 5 minutes, sir.
Yes.
Apparao, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Professor D. Chennappa, our dynamic head, Department of Commerce. D stands for dynamic. Okay. Now the course coordinator, Professor Indrakanti Sekhar, and the teachers attending online, all the teachers from the Department of Commerce, campus and constituent colleges, and Dr. K. Srinivas Rao from the VV College. Now he is in the present government college. So, and dear students and the faculty attending from different colleges. I think Dr. Arati Jadhav also online. no faces appearing on
Good
this
morning, yes, sir.
morning, and all the campus and no constituent colleges and affiliated college students. So at the outset, I appreciate and congratulate my colleagues from the department, particularly Professor D. Channappa and Indrakant Shekhar, and we have Patrick also, for taking initiation to conduct this online workshop for the benefit of MCOM students on the project work preparation. So this is important. Yesterday only we have conducted offline program for the teachers who are working in different colleges. Almost 50 teachers have attended from different colleges, and we have given necessary information about how to prepare project work. And even if you see the history of the commerce department, we are known for organizing programs like the seminars, conferences. If any changes are there in the syllabus, or if any problem is there in the course curriculum and also colleges, we are the first the department to attend and conduct the programs like this. So in this connection, now we should appreciate the proactiveness of the Professor D. Channappa. So we have conducted a series of programs after he took over charge as head Department of Commerce. Mainly, the purpose of this program already explained by Professor D. Channappa. So mainly, there are no 2-3 purposes. Number one is to improve the quality of project work. Because if you see the practical situation, in most of the affiliated colleges and even university colleges also, they are now preparing substandard quality of project reports, though it is part of course curriculum. Because of various reasons, now they are now preparing, and sometimes some of the students also copying from the earlier reports. So to avoid this situation, we are conducting this program for the benefit of the teachers as well as the students. Then second purpose will be to enlighten and to improve awareness about the project work. This is important because whatever you are studying in the classroom, theoretically, you have to observe in the practical situations. So that's why, so now there should be necessary awareness about the project work preparation also. So that's why we have no subject experts, and we have taken help from the other colleges, some important colleges. We have good resource persons. Then definitely they will enlighten and create some kind of awareness among the students. Then like that, now we have, so because anyway, I have a session after this inaugural program. In that, we will now share the information. Definitely, I hope this program may be useful to the teachers and also the students who are attending this program. So I think now campus students also attending this program. So we are very happy that no, this program will be definitely a grand success and improve particularly the quality of project work in different colleges. So with this, I conclude my speech, and thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Channappa, and over to Professor Indrakant Shekhar.
So thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you, sir.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir, with your nice words for the inaugural session. And I will call you again for this session, sir. Before that, may I call Professor M. Gangadhar, sir, Dean, Faculty of Commerce.
Noda.
Not able to.
నీ దగ్గర కాలేజీలో ఉంటాడు కదా.
I called him in the morning, sir. Maybe.
Okay.
Sir has already joined in the Zoom, sir. He can unmute and talk, sir. Gangadhar sir, please unmute and talk, please.
Gangadhar, sir, unmute change, sir. Unmute change.
Now he's unmute, sir. He's talking.
Yeah. Please, sir. Please speak out. Apparava, sir, ring వస్తుంది. Gangadhar, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
Respected senior professor Kodi Channappa garu and senior professor Apparava sir, DOS, and other coordinators of the program, and other professors, faculty, and other resource persons and participants of various college, students, and the teachers. And first of all, I congrats and we appreciate it with our HOD, and he has taken initiation and a lot of programs he is conducting, and day by day and lab also, and it is very useful for this project program. And yesterday, the 2 days back, we had conducted a meeting to the people, and successfully they are attended 50 members ago, and briefly has given to the Outlook project, and it is very useful for those who are and the really project doing, and the students getting a lot of benefit. And our Vice Chancellor also encouraging to the this kind of programs and computer knowledge and technology. Nowadays, it is so much. And those who will be preparing for the real project, and a lot of students are getting the benefit, and not only that, they will go to the own entrepreneurship also they will start. And preparing for the project, how to get into the data and how to analyzing what are the problems are there, how to solve the company, and this is very useful and it is a very knowledgeable. And once again, congratulations to our teachers and conducting this kind of good program for our students also this teachers. And our university students also join, and other faculty members also join this program, and very useful. Once again, congrats to all the teachers and participants and all the guests for participants. Thank you very much this year opportunity for me. Thank you. Over to my keyboard.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your message. Actually, yeah, because in the morning inaugural session, time is very less to connect all of us. So immediately we'll start with the session from Senior Professor V. Apparao sir. Sir, before starting the session, just I wanted to introduce sir, because in the inaugural session we don't have time to introduce because many students have joined into this.
Yeah.
I request 1 or 2 minutes to introduce you, sir. Sir is the Senior Professor and Chairman BOS in Commerce. He's also Director of UFRO, Usmania University. Sir is the Executive Committee member for Usmania University. He's a Senior Vice President, Indian Accounting Association. He's having 32 years of experience. Sir is did his MCom, MPhil, PhD, and sir has research topics on MPhil and PhD, cost structure and behavior in sugar industry, a study of some selected units in Andhra Pradesh. And he has published 23 publications in national and international journals. And he did many administrative positions like Executive Council member and a Dean Faculty of Commerce. He is also Principal of University College of Commerce and Business Management. He is also Controller of Examination, Usmania University. He is a Director of BCCL, Usmania University, Joint Director, Director of Admissions, and is also Additional Controller of Examination and Vice Principals of this college. And sir is having State Best Teacher Award received from the Government of Telangana for the year 2021, and is Best Commerce Faculty Award received from the Institute of Practical Accounting, Secunderabad, for the year 2008. So we are very happy, sir. Is a good resource person for the department. Sir, I am requesting you to deliver your session.
Okay, thank you for your nice introduction. Then I will share my PPT.
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
So nice, sir. So nice it is.
Project work one side is వచ్చినాయి కదా చిన్నగా చేద్దాం.
Yes, sir.
Okay. రైట్ సైడ్ స్క్రీన్ కనిపిస్తుంది ఉన్నది ఏమైంది? ఓకే.
Yeah, no issue, sir. It's visible, clear.
Okay, okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Shall I enlarge the screen or no? Keep like this.
It's okay, sir. Your voice is clear and your screen also is a big letters is very clearly visible.
Very clear. Because if it is no this size, I can scroll easily and show one by one. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, it is good, sir. Go ahead.
Right. So, good morning, all the students and also the teachers attending this program. Before going to know the meaning of the project work and the other things related to the preparation of the project work, just I would like to give some introduction to the research and also research process, and followed by how to prepare the project work. Now, dear students, now research is an academic activity because the term itself indicating that research. So that's why. So as per the nature of the subjects and disciplines, we can undertake research work for academic purpose, and in that process, we can also find out some new things, and they may be useful for the industry and also policymakers. So that is the main purpose of the research work. You can see the research works undertaken by different organizations like national and state bodies may be useful to solve the some social problems which are there in the society. So that's why. So if you see the disciplines in the society or in the academic field, now we can see the two types of disciplines. One is natural science, second is social science. Otherwise, there is no sequence. Social science and also natural science. Then, for example, social science means this is the disciplines or subjects which are related to the society. Like, for example, political science, economics, public administration, then history, commerce, management, journalism. These are all, psychology. These subjects are social science. If you see the nature of these subjects, they are mostly concerned with the society. For example, economic conditions of the people, economic conditions of the society or economies and country, like that. These are all social related, consumer behavior, attitude, perceptions, then the working relationships. These are all related to the social sciences. Now, for example, if you see the natural science means natural science generally covers subjects like the chemistry, physics, botany, zoology, microbiology, genetics, like that. We have so many subjects. Now here the point is our subject comes under, our commerce subject comes under social science, because we are also indirectly or directly dealing with the social problems, particularly business environment. So the problems and the issues that are related to the industry and also different sectors which are there in the business environment. So that's why the nature of research undertaken for social science are somewhat different from the natural sciences. For example, in social science, mostly we use observation method, questionnaire method, and experimental method, explorative method for conducting research work. For example, if any incident is occurred or if any accident is occurred, then the people try to use the explorative method and also investigative method of ascertaining the truth. So that's why now we use a different methodology. So that's why those methods are covered in social science research process. But in the case of natural sciences, the research is conducted in labs and also some animals. So that's why for example, chemistry, physics, botany. For example, botany experiments are conducted on plants and also like some scaplings. So similarly, genetics, now experiments are conducted on animals or sometimes human beings, like that. So that's why we are not concerned with because for that we should have different background. So that's why our discussion will confine to only social science, particularly with reference to commerce. I will try to explain the research process and particularly project report. Now, this is the introduction and the background for the research. Now, mainly the purpose of research, you have to understand The purpose of research is number one is to find out the truth. This is the main first purpose. First one is to find out the truth. So truth means whatever reality is there in the business environment or society, that you will find out through research process. So what is research? We will discuss later. So that is the first one. For example, a company may be incurring losses for the last 5 years or 10 years. So here already the company is incurring losses. Now you can find out what are the reasons, actual and true position of the company by conducting research work. So like that we can discover certain facts in the research process, because that is the first one. Then second is to expose the students with the practical situations, because now project work particularly mainly useful for the students to expose the practical situations. For example, whatever you are studying in classroom, that you can just observe in the practical situations. You take any subjects like accounting, finance, marketing, or organization theory and behavior, or human resource management. For example, recruitment and training. You can understand the concept. What do you mean by recruitment? What is training? What is development? And what is wage salary administration in the human resource management subject. Now, for example, what type of recruitment? There are several recruitment methods followed by different companies. Theoretically, you can have idea. Now, all those methods you can study in the classroom. But practically, which method a company is following? What type of procedure they are adopting for recruiting the people? You can study through research process. So this way, whatever you are studying, you take any, for example, advertisement you are studying in the classroom in the marketing subject. So what is the impact of advertisement on the consumer behavior? What is the impact on sales position of a particular product? So like that, you can just correlate with the practical knowledge and understand the subject matter. So like that, you will have some practical exposure in the research process. Then third objective will be to improve analytical skills. Normally, this is another purpose actually. In the process of research, if you undertake some research work, maybe project work or PhD work, or even if you write a paper also, now you will learn so many things. Now you can interrelate and you can improve subject knowledge and research skills, analytical skills, and decision making skills, reporting skills. Like that, you can have a comprehensive idea about the subject knowledge. You can have complete knowledge about the theory as well as the practical. So like that, academically, you can improve your academic caliber through research process. And also you can integrate one subject with other subject, interdisciplinary approach. For example, the financial concept you can integrate with the accounting concept you can integrate with the marketing or other subjects. So like that, you can try to correlate subject matter, because all the subjects are interrelated. So for example, the sales data is shown in the trading account. So for example, or in the income statement, why sales are increasing? Sales is related to the marketing, and the variables, the sales data is related to the accounting aspect. Now, like that, you can correlate why sales are increasing for the last 5 years, why sales are coming down for the last 1 or 2 years. What are the reasons? That is marketing aspect, but sales figure you can get from the financial statements. So this way, you can correlate with the subject. So this is actually the main purpose of research work. Now, for the information of the students and also faculty here, first I will explain what do we mean by research. So what is research? So research, actually these are the contents we are going to discuss. Introduction to project or research. Then what do you mean by project work? Then what are the steps in research process? What are the factors considered in preparation of the project work? What are the contents in the project report? So these are the 4 or 5 aspects I will cover. And in detail, other aspects may be covered by other resource persons. The first one is, what is research? So research means, simply speaking, it is, 1 minute. So research means search for knowledge or facts. Just now I told you, research, the term, it is not search, because research is a combination of two words, research actually. So it is a process of search for knowledge or facts. Okay. So it means you need not find out anything new. So what is there in the existing knowledge? What is there in the business environment? You are going to find out through research process. So that's why it is called as search for, it is the process of search for knowledge or search for facts. Otherwise, it is an art of scientific investigation. So this is another definition. It is an art of scientific investigation, because research blindly you cannot undertake. You have to use certain research tools and techniques and undertake the research process. So that's why it is an art of scientific investigation about a particular issue or a problem. Then third definition is like this. Research is a purposive investigation. So there should be some purpose, because although simple research also cannot be called as research, but there should be some purpose. And if there is a purpose, it is called the research. So it is a purposive investigation. So third detailed definition is like this. Next one, fourth one. Research is a systematic and a logical study of an issue or a problem or phenomena through a scientific method. So this is the detailed definition. Research is a systematic and logical study of an issue or a problem or phenomena through scientific method. Scientific method means you have to apply some research methodology, and systematically you have to proceed the research process. So like that, step by step, you will undertake research work and complete the research process. So like, for example, just now I shared you, a company may be incurring losses for the last 5-10 years. What are the reasons? Already company has been incurring losses. That is there. If you even go to organization and find out that there is a loss. But as a researcher, what you can find out is, now what are the reasons for the losses? That is the research aspect. So the issue is, what are the reasons? Similarly, for example, a bank may be having more amount of non-performing assets. For example, nowadays this is one of the problems, because most of the commercial banks are now sanctioning loans to the different types of people in society. Some people may loans as per the schedule, some may not pay. As a result, if people are not repaying loans to the banker, there will be accumulated loans. They are called as non-performing assets. Now, if any bank is having non-performing assets, you can get from the information from annual reports or financial statements or the balance sheet. But as a researcher, you can find out what are the reasons for the non-performing assets. Why? What are the measures taken by the banker? What policy says? What RBI says? Then what are the regulatory mechanism? All those things you can study. Why bank is not able to collect the loans as per the time. So these things you can find out the research process by using observation method or questionnaire method or empirical study. So like that, you can also discuss with the bank managers and understand why the NPA position is increasing day by day or year by year. So this way, there should be some purpose. So you can take any problem for research purpose and undertake research work. So in commerce, there is a lot of scope for the research work. So for example, now recently we have experienced the corona situation, that is COVID-19 problem. For example, what the impact of COVID-19 on sales performance, impact on profits, so or impact on education, impact on online education. So like that, though there can be so many areas you can identify, like problems relating to the employees, problems relating to the consumers, consumer behavior. Then similarly, for example, any problem you can take, because everything is commerce in the society. For example, in Hyderabad, you can observe there will be so many construction workers. So what are the problems of construction workers? That the human resource aspect. So is there any training is required? And like that, any problem you can take. For example, the problems of vegetable vendors or some retailers, or anything, online banking, online business, e-commerce has given a lot of scope for research in the field of banking and accounting or finance area. So like that, any area you can take in the commerce and undertake the research work. So this is briefly about the research. So basically, research is an academic activity, because it may be useful to the society later, but basically academicians only can undertake, or some researchers also can undertake the research work. Then coming to next slide, research process. normally I have been explaining about the research. You take any research, even in the social science also, more or less the same steps are followed. In the natural sciences also, same steps may be there. But academically, these are the steps in the research process. So number one is review of previous literature. Am I audible, Shekhar, or any student?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir. Yeah, it's clear,
Okay.
sir. Continue.
Okay. Now, these are the general steps in the social science research process. One is a review of previous literature. Second is formulating research problem. Third, developing hypothesis if necessary. Preparing research design. Determining sample design. Collecting data or collection of data. Analysis of data. Hypothesis testing. Generalizations, oblique interpretations. Next last one is preparation of report or dissertation or thesis. So these steps applicable to any research process in the social science or natural sciences. In natural sciences, there may be certain differences, but mostly these steps are applicable to the social science subjects like commerce also. Now, commerce also. Okay. These things again we will discuss in detail. For example, if you want to write a paper also, because research means now anything could be apart from project, because we are discussing the project report point of view. But these steps may be applicable to any research process in the society. For example, now if you want to write a paper, then you can, Shekhar, ఇది క్యాండిడేట్స్ అడ్మిట్ అని వస్తుంది, అడ్మిట్ చేయాలనా గజేంద్ర బాబు?
సార్ ఇగ్నోర్ చేయండి సార్, ప్లీజ్ ఇగ్నోర్ చేయండి సార్.
ఇగ్నోర్ అవద్దా?
వద్దు సార్,
మీరు కంటిన్యూ చేయండి సార్, మేము చూస్తాం సార్.
we will take care of that one, sir.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So if you want to write a paper, research paper, the same steps may be applicable. If you want to complete project work, more or less same. If you want to do research work like MPhil course, now earlier we had MPhil course. If you want to do PhD also, the same research process. Even for any employee, officer working in IAS, IPS, and these officers also will undertake some research work if any incident is occurred in the society. Like police people will investigate several aspects. Then there will be so many committees constituted by state government and central governments with the IAS members, Indian Administrative Service members as researchers. So they will also follow the same kind of research process to find out the truth, and also in the investigative aspects. Even journalists also will follow same type of research process, but they may not follow all these steps, because some steps may not be required. For example, review of literature and formulation of research problem. So academically speaking, these are the steps. Now, these steps we will discuss later part of my presentation. One is before that, just I will explain because we are discussing the project work. These are the steps in research process, and majority of steps are there in the project report also. So that's why first I will explain what do you mean by project work, and followed by other things related to project work. Now, this is the slide gives the meaning of the project work. So project work is the study of real life situation with a view to provide a solution by using suitable concepts. Actually, project report is a kind of medium sized research work, because if you compare with advanced researches like the PhD work and also postdoctoral work, it is nothing but a minor research work. It is not a major work. A minor research work undertaken by the researcher, particularly students, to provide suitable solutions by using different concepts in the research process. So first definition says that project work is the study of real life situation with a view to provide a solution by using suitable concepts. You take any real life situation, it may be related to the manufacturing organization or trading organization or service organization, or now people in the society also, and you can just undertake research work. Now you can just recollect the examples given by me. That is the first definition. Second one is project work is a practical and in-depth study of a problem. Actually, project work is a narrow type of research work, and there will be practical and in-depth study of a problem in the project work. You take any problem, minor problem, that you can, for example, why people are buying a particular product when compared to other products. For example, what are the reasons? Buying behavior. It is related to buying behavior. So that's why you can make an in-depth study about buying behavior of consumers towards particular product. Now, for example, why if anything is happened, like because of inflationary conditions, economical changes, suddenly there may be increase in the petroleum prices, or increase in onion prices, or increase in gas. So these things also will give scope for undertaking research work. So that's why, so project work is a practical and in-depth study of a problem. So these are the simple two definitions. Now, from the steps point of view, it involves collection of factual data, analysis, interpretation, drawing conclusions, and suggesting appropriate recommendations to solve the problem. That means, if you want to define from the process point of view, project work is the process of collection of factual information, analysis of information, interpretation, drawing conclusions, and suggesting appropriate recommendations to solve the problem also. Because whatever problem you have diagnosed and identified, diagnosed and analyzed through a research process, you can present in the project work, and ultimately you can also give suggestion. For example, how to control the diesel prices, how to control the petroleum price, how to control the onion prices. Based on your academic knowledge, based on your observation about the situation, you can also give suggestions. So this way, you can find out the truth, and also you can give appropriate suggestion in the process of project work. So this is about the meaning of the project work. Then next we will go for what are the factors considered in the preparation of the project work. Factors. So these are more or less there in the steps in the project work. So if you see the get-up point of view, project work generally contains these elements. These can be called as factors. Number one is there should be introduction to the topic, and review of previous literature, statement of the problem, objectives of the study, formulation of hypothesis, scope of the study, period of the study, sources of data, methodology of the study, limitations of the study, chapter scheme, and bibliography. So these are the generally steps with reference to project work. And maybe applicable to other, because other points are there in the process of project work. Now, I will explain all these factors one by one. Introduction. Anyway, introduction we need not discuss, because as per the topic, you have to write introduction to the topic. For example, your topic is related to consumer behavior towards particular product. Then you have to write something about the marketing and also consumer behavior in the introduction part, and also highlight the importance of the study. It depends on, for example, subject is materials management in some company. Now you have to write something about the materials management and what are the materials management tools and techniques. Like that, you can write in the introduction part. So like you have to introduce suddenly you cannot enter into the contents of the project work. First, you have to introduce the topic and go for other aspects. That is introduction. If you see the old project works or some MPhil or PhD works, you will understand how you can develop the introduction. For writing introduction, you have to see the textbooks and also material. That cannot be copied, but you have to code the information by using a superscription or no references. Okay. Now coming to the other aspects, I will in detail explain. Review of literature is one of the main aspects in the research work. So review of literature means, as a researcher, you need to refer what are the existing literature available on your subject or topic. So like, for example, to strengthen your academic knowledge, academic caliber, you can refer textbooks. For example, your topic is consumer behavior or advertising. So now you have to read marketing textbooks to understand what is consumer behavior. Then like that, attitudes and all those things you have to So you have to understand by referring the textbooks. So that's why, so for strengthening theoretical knowledge, then students or teachers are required to refer textbooks related to your topic. There are so many books are available. They are also one of the review of literature. Second is again, this review of literature is just for strengthening your academic knowledge, and also how you can differently prepare project work when compared to existing literature. Because if you do not see the existing literature, then sometimes there will be overlapping and duplication of the work. For example, you have taken consumer behavior or some topic already done by somebody else, then it is useless. So that's why if your topic should be, if you want to say maintain your topic uniquely, you have to made review of literature. The books one is, second is you have to read journals. Now there are so many journals related to finance, marketing, accounting. So those journals also you can refer, and there will be papers and articles already published by the researchers. So it will also strengthen your academic knowledge, and what they have covered, what you want to cover, you can differentiate. So then third is reports of the committees and commissions, because there are so many committees and commissions are constituted by the central government or state government. RBI reports and committees also will give reference material, and the thesis awarded earlier, or dissertations submitted earlier, or project works completed earlier, and newspapers, audios and videos, websites. These are all no source of no review of literature. Okay. Now for project work, I think the students need not refer all the committee reports or no thesis and dissertations. At least they have to read the textbooks and some journals related to, one or two journals related to your subject. Then newspapers, audios and videos may not be required. Some for certain topics, audios and videos also required, like history and other subjects. Nowadays, websites also one of the sources of review of literature. Every company and for every problem, you can get from the Google and also different companies' websites. So this is about the review. Mainly the purpose of review of literature is to understand what is the existing literature available to your subject and also topic. So if it is already covered, then you can modify your topic and change the scope of the study, period of the study, and accordingly you can proceed for the research work. Then coming to next topic, next one. This is important because the statement of problem actually for academic purpose, it is important for MPhil and PhD work. But in project work also you can mention this may be reflected in the form of objectives of the study. Now statement of problem means it will give the core aspect in the research process. Actually, entire research based on the problem or issue identified by the researcher. If any, as I said earlier, the onion prices are increasing, or say there may be some crisis in the society. That crisis will give scope for conducting research work. So that's why. So the selection of topic depends on the statement of the problem or selection of the problem. So if you understand the problem, then you can convert into topic. So that's why the selection of problem is the first step in the research process. Your problem means it cannot be called as the problem facing by the researcher, but here the problem means a question or issue to be examined in the research process. Issue to be examined by what you want. For example, as I said earlier, the recruitment practices of some company. So you want to study the recruitment practices of some. So what are the recruitment practices followed by the company? So you can study theoretical knowledge and then go to company and discuss with the human resource manager and what are the procedures and policies followed by the company. So that's why the issue is here recruitment practices. For example, buying behavior, also a problem or issue. So but you want to study buying behavior. Buying behavior itself is a issue to be examined in the research process. The other things you can develop later stage. But first you have to identify what type of problem or some issue you want to examine the research process in one or two sentences. Now, how do you identify a problem for research purpose? Actually, these are the sources of identification of the problem or issue. For example, reading material, reading textbooks, newspapers, journals, and by reading some material, you will get the idea of the problem. Like, for example, how you will understand the petroleum prices are increasing by newspapers. Otherwise, you can and also if you have commanding over the subject, we are studying different concepts in the accounting, marketing, finance. Now you can focus on one of the aspects and take as a research problem. Then second is academic experience. So if you are having academic experience, then you can also identify the research problem. Next, academic experience means no academic caliber of the candidate. Then third is a daily experience. Nowadays, daily, every day you are exposing to different situations. Then those situations also will give scope for the identification of the problem. Then exposure to field situations. Now, if you go to some shop, because the daily experience, field situation, both are same. For example, both are more or less same. If you go to some shop and find some problem or some payment issue may be there, that there may be a long queue in the payment process. Those things also will give scope for, if you come across some problem in the society, it will give scope for conducting research work, and you can find out what are the reasons for that problem. But then next is by consultations. You can discuss with some experts and colleagues, friends, and in that process also you can find out some research problem. Then brainstorming, the two or more people can sit together and discuss about some issue and ultimately decide this is the research problem. And by conducting minor research, pilot study, we are calling pilot study. So you can, before conducting the actual work, you can just find out whether researchability is there or not in the particular subject, particular area, by conducting some pilot study. So that is the pilot work. Then if you, in that process, if you find that there is a possibility of research, you can proceed for the research. So these are the generally sources of research problem. Then next point is the formulation of selected problem, because whatever problem you have identified by any of these methods explained, then that research problem can be translated into a researchable topic. You have to develop a title. Okay. For example, consumer behavior is the research problem. Then you have to develop a title. Consumer behavior, a study on consumer behavior towards toothpaste or some soaps. Like that, you can just convert into a topic. Or as per the core aspect identified, also you can correlate. For example, the inflationary conditions and impact on petroleum prices. Like that, you can just convert into. So otherwise, disclosure practices of some companies, accounting disclosures. So this way, there are so many topics, and as per the nature of the subject, you can identify. Now, this is about the statement of the problem. Then coming to objectives. Now, generally, for any research work, there should be objectives. Objectives will give the purpose of the study, because there should be some purpose. Without purpose, there cannot be any research. So that's why. So the objective should be clearly mentioned as part of the research work, particularly in the introduction chapter. Now, the objectives should be clear and understandable, because how many objectives should be proposed depends on the volume of the work and the depth of the work. So, particularly, for example, if there are no objectives, then you cannot understand what you have covered and what you want to study. So that's why. So the objectives of study should be clearly stated as part of the research work. But from the number point of how many objectives you can propose. Actually, in the research process, there is no certain limit to the number of objectives that are to be identified, but there can be no reasonable number of objectives proposed by the researcher. Maybe 3 objectives, 4 objectives, or 5 objectives. It depends on. For example, if it is project work, there can be minimum 2 or 3 objectives, and if it is MPhil work, there can be 4 or 5. If it is PhD also there can be 4 or 5 or 6 objectives only. Now, if you propose more number of objectives, it leads to more complication, and sometimes you may not justify all the objectives. So that's why the objectives should be specific and indicate the exact purpose of the study. For what purpose you are going to undertake research work should be reflected in the form of objectives. Now, and also the proposed objectives also will give direction to the researcher. Because if there are no objectives, it will be a problem, and no, you cannot proceed further. That's why, as for objectives, one by one you can clear and proceed further. So this is about the objectives of the study. Then, perhaps the objectives means it is like this. As per the title, for example, advertisement, for example, or consumer behavior. To study consumer behavior towards a particular product, to analyze the attitude or the behavior pattern, like that, you can just identify the objectives. You just see the awarded project works, you will understand. Then we have another. Now, this is actual hypothesis. Hypothesis, it is not compulsory. But if you propose hypothesis, if you want to apply some statistical tools and prove certain things, whether your assumption is correct or not, to what extent you can justify your objectives, can be tested with the help of some statistical tools. So that's why. So you can also develop the hypothesis. There may be 2-3 hypotheses or 4-5 hypotheses as per the content. So what do you mean by actually hypothesis? Hypothesis, the term itself indicating that it is a assumption. So a tentative solution about a problem is called as hypothesis actually. So for example, you take any problem, for example, impact advertisement and its impact on consumer behavior, for example. So that is your topic. For example, whether impact is there or not, you have to find out and prove with the help of research work. Now, the hypothesis, because in the process of research, ultimately you will find there will be impact or there may not be impact. Now, initially you can assume that there is no impact. There is no impact of advertisement on the consumer behavior. That is the assumption you can assume and proceed. Whether your solution is correct or not, proved with the help of statistical tools. For that, you have to take a certain number of consumers as sample size and collect the data by using questionnaire or schedule method, and use some Z-test or T-test or chi-square, and analyze. And in the analysis process, if the calculated value is less than the standard value or p-value more or less, then we can say that there is no impact. If the observed value is more than the standard value, then we can say that there is an impact. So this way, statistically you can prove your assumption. For that, you need to develop and propose hypothesis. Hypothesis depends on, for example, you want to compare the sales and profits. For example, there is no significant difference between the sales and profits, or there is no significant difference between some phenomena. So like that, you can whether it is correct or not. So that's why a tentative assumption about the research problem is called as hypothesis. It is also called as the tentative proposition. It may or may not be true. Hypothesis should be very specific and clear, and it should be testable also. So you can test with the help of tools like Z-test, T-test, chi-square, or ANOVA, etc. Though hypothesis also will give the direction to the researcher. You can also delimit the research work by focusing on the correct research work. Okay, so this is about the hypothesis. We'll take another 10-15 minutes and stop. Okay, Shekhar. Now this is the scope of the study. Normally, as a researcher, you have to then mention about the scope of the study. Scope of the study means that the coverage of the study should be defined and delimited with reference to certain aspects. Well, because in the business environment, or you take any subject, there are so many aspects to be covered. But you can confine to only your title, objectives, and hypothesis. Then accordingly, you have to decide the scope of the study. The scope of the study can be discussed with reference to depth of the subject to be studied. What is the depth? For example, your subject is consumer behavior. You have to focus on only consumer behavior. Your subject is, let us say, inventory management. You have to focus inventory. Your subject is, your title is, accounting standards or IFRS. You have to confine to only accounting standards. So the other academic aspect need not be covered in the thesis. So that's why. So scope of the study can be now covered with reference to subject matter to be studied in the research. Then the geographical area to be covered. For example, your study related to now, for example, some industry. Now there may be so many factories situated in India and also different states. Now your study may be limited to only Telangana, Andhra, or Telangana, Andhra. Otherwise, Maharashtra and Telangana. Like that, we have to define what is the geographical area to be covered in the research work. Sometimes some of the researchers may confine to only Hyderabad, Secunderabad, or Karimnagar, Warangal, something like that. That is also important. Then next is type of respondents to be covered. What type of respondents you want to cover? Particularly for primary database studies, you want to cover high income, middle income, low income. Otherwise, urban people, rural people, then metropolitan, like that. There will be different types of people in the society, but you have to identify what type of respondents you want to interview and study and cover in the research work. The number also important. How many respondents you want to study, particularly consumers or some respondents. Then nowadays we have no formulas for deciding sample size. Accordingly, you can decide by applying. Then next is the type of units to be taken. If it is a secondary database study, like performance evaluation of banks or some manufacturing companies, how many companies you want to study? For example, 10 companies, 20 companies. For example, there are so many banks in India. There are so many tire manufacturing companies, sugar manufacturing companies, textile manufacturing companies. How many companies you want to study? That also you have to decide. 5 companies, 2 companies, 10 companies, like that. Number of units, type of units means the nature of business, like manufacturing, trading, service oriented. Number means the number of units, number of companies you want to study. Okay. Sometimes your study may be limited to only manufacturing company. Sometimes only pharmaceuticals. Sometimes sugar industry. The type of industry also you have to select as part of research work if it is primary data, secondary data based. Now this is about the scope of the study. Then coming to source of data. Normally, for research work, you can use 2 types of data. One is primary and second is secondary data. Primary data means the data which is collected from the original source is called as primary data. It is not compiled by any else. You have to undertake the research work and get the information from original source, that is called primary data. Particularly for collection of primary data, you can use methods like observation method, questionnaire method, schedule, or personal interview. Directly you have to talk to the respondents and get the information. So this is called primary data. It is not compiled. There, for example, the consumer behavior or all some of the marketing topics or accounting topics also, you can use the primary data. You can directly talk to the respondents and get the information through questionnaire. Then you have to again redraft and represent through tables, etc., using statistical techniques. Then secondary data means the data which is already compiled and compiled by somebody else from that source. If you collect the data, it is called secondary data. Generally, there are different sources of secondary data. For example, census reports. For example, if you want to know population data, already published data is available by the government. Some government reports, RBI reports, reports of UNO, IMF. These are all examples only. Annual reports of companies, reports of associations, NGO associations, journals, newspapers. Already they are published and available. If you want, you can use for your reference purpose. So here the point is certain studies requires primary data, certain studies require secondary data, certain studies require primary as well as secondary data. But all primary data-based studies require secondary data also. So that's why you have to differentiate these two types of data and use in the research process. Then coming to the methodology of the study, methodology means the way to solve research problems systematically. So what is the research methodology adopted by the researcher to undertake the research work is called as methodology. So generally it indicates how researcher is proposed to undertake the research work. Now, generally the methodology implies basically three aspects. One is sample design, data collection methods, statistical tools and methods used for the study. Covering these aspects, sample and also before sample, type of research also. I forgotten here. The type of research, one, sample design, data collection method, statistical tools. Covering these four aspects, you have to develop the methodology. Because methodology is not clear, it is not possible to complete your research work within the time. So that's why. So first you have to clear about how you want to proceed. There may be some minor changes in the research process, but basically objectives and methodology will give direction to the student. So what type of research, for example, observation method you want to apply, or empirical study, or no explorative method. So accordingly you have to proceed. So you want to follow explorative method. Accordingly you have to approach research and complete them. Then sample design, how many units you want to cover? 5 companies. You have to select 5 companies and complete. How many respondents? For example, 300 respondents you want to study. Consumers, 300 you have to take and complete. So like that, if you want to collect data, and again, what type of method you have to, questionnaire or schedule. Again, you have to decide. And what are the tools to be used? Like the chi-square t-test or averages, growth rates, compound growth rates, etc. So this way, covering these things, you have to develop the methodology, and that should be mentioned as part of the project work, even in this PhD work also. Now coming to the chapter scheme. So this is designing the work. After completion of the research work, you have to prepare the report, and you have to then identify the number of chapters. Generally, keeping in view the objectives of the study, the chapter scheme should be designed. Generally, the chapter scheme is required for communicating findings of the research, because if there are no chapters, there will be vague in the presentation. For example, if you see the textbook, there will be chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, otherwise lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, like that there will be chapters. So for easy understanding the material that is covered in the project work, you have to divide entire work into different segments. They are identified as chapters. So the number of chapters depends on the scope of the study and also objectives of the study. There can be the minimum of 4 chapters or 5 chapters. If it is a project work, generally there will be minimum 4. There will be introduction chapter, second profile of the organization or profile of the respondents, third like data analysis, and the fourth will be summary and conclusions. And like that, if it is a PhD MPhil, then there can be more number of chapters, 5, 6 chapters, or sometimes 7 chapters. Depends on volume of the work undertaken by the researcher. Okay. Now, lastly, last but one, then at the end of the report, you have to mention about the bibliography. What is the literature referred by the researcher? Also should be mentioned. There is a procedure for presenting the bibliography. If you refer textbooks, you have to follow some method. If you refer articles or papers, you have to refer. If you read some reports, accordingly how to mention. Whatever material is referred by the researcher should be shown at the end of the project work in the form of bibliography or references. So generally we have 2 methods. One is what is that? MLA method and also APA method. APA and MLA. Generally APA method is now applicable for social science subjects, and MLA method is applicable to the science subject. So APA means American Psychological Association suggested way of presentation of the bibliography, and MLA is Modern Language Association suggested method. There are some differences between these two presentations, but any method you can, you have to follow only APA method. For example, if it is a bibliography for book, generally we follow as per APA. First, you have to write name of the author or authors, title of the book, followed by title of the book, place of publication, name of the publisher, year of publication, edition also you can write at the end. If it is a journal, if you refer article, name of the author you have to write or authors. First, second is title of the paper, name of the journal, place of publication, year of publication, and the volume also you can mention at the end, numbers. Okay. So this is the presentation. If you even refer to websites, then you have to write websites of the companies and Google or company websites. Then if it is reports, report name and write report name and publisher name, page number also you have to write. So these are the certain things. Anyway, our other resource persons will enlighten about other things. Then the last one is, what are the contents in the project work? Briefly, these are the contents for the information of the students, particularly after completion of your research work, you have to cover these aspects and prepare the project work. You have to prepare in the 42 C, because I forgotten to share, project work is a minor research work. You need not prepare in 100 pages, 200 pages, 300 pages. It is a kind of minor research work. Then based on the previous experience and also content-wise, project report generally ranges from 40 to 60 pages, not more than 70. And if it is a MPhil work, it can be 100 or more than 100, 100 to 150. If it is a PhD work, 150 to 300 or something like that. But there is no standard. If you are covering so many aspects, you can use more number of pages. But if it is a project work, generally there can be minimum of 40 pages. For example, each chapter you can present in 10-15 pages, comes to 60 pages. First chapter 10 pages, second chapter 10 pages, third chapter 20 pages, fourth chapter 10 pages. Like that, you will get 10 into 4 or 40 pages. Otherwise, 15 into 4 or with the difference also, you can get 60-70 pages only. Now, generally, project report should cover these aspects. One is there should be title page, first page. You have to bind and submit. And second is the student declaration. You have to cover. You have to give declaration that it is my original work. Like that, you have to declare yourself. Then third, there should be certificate by supervisor. Your guide also should certify that yours is original work, and under his supervision or her supervision, you have completed research work. And there should be letter issued by the principal or head of the department about the research work. They are showing the originality of the work and showing the candidate's identity. Then certificate issued by the organization. If it is secondary based study, secondary database study, you have to take data from the organization where you have worked. It is not compulsory, but if it is there, you can enclose. If it is primary data, no certificate is required from the organization. You have to show the responses of the respondents. Then acknowledgements, you can express your thanks to different people who helped the research work in one page. The list of tables and figures used in the research, you can just give at a glance in the first pages. Contents page, first chapter, what is the title, what are the second chapter, what is the title, what are the aspects. Then chapter scheme, chapters, how many chapters are there, 1, 2, 3, you can explain. And bibliography, appendices. If any questionnaire is used, you have to show in the form of appendix. So these are the things you can just remember while preparing the project work. So I suggest all the students, please don't go for the copying. Whatever may be the work, whether it is a small or big research, you can also undertake small research and contribute originally, so that you can get good marks and also improve your academic career. With this, so thank you for listening. 1 hour. So thank you very much for giving more time for presentation. Srinivas Rao garu.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Thank you, sir, Professor Apparao, sir. Really, you are
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Wonderful inputs.
I request all the students, please note all points.
Yes.
What Professor Rao indicated that this is entire exercise is to improve the student quality,
Yes,
bring
yes.
out the original project report. As sir stated, you did not bring any library books at all. Small things, 10 pages.
Yes,
original.
any small problem also you can take.
Yes.
50 also you can take sample size.
Yes.
Yes.
Students, 50 respondents, 50 consumers, or 50 employees working in some organization. Nowadays, work-life balance is very, very important. Professor Gangadhar knows. So how the women balancing their work life and also the home life? No, it has become a big challenge. Okay, so like that, you can take any commerce related problem, because you also remember all the students don't take other subjects like public administration, political science. Now broad topics like Indian economy as a whole. Now Indian economy is a big ocean. You can take some problem related to consumers or employees working in some organization, or some financial statements of some company, or consumer problems or retailers problems. Any problem you can, because there are other speakers also, they will share their
Yeah.
knowledge. So with this I will.
And yeah, thank you very much, sir. Most of the faculty members, they are into the Zoom platform, students at YouTube platform. Now I request the faculty members, kindly encourage the students. Some of them, as of now, we are looking to that around 350, 400. Only there we expected 800. And of course, group also in screening share also there. Might be sharing it. But the thing is there, all the faculty members, please try to ensure that the students should attend the remaining program, and they have to get the online workshop certificate. Unless until they attach the online workshop certificate, their projects are not going to be evaluated by the Department of Commerce. Because of Professor Apparao, he has taken a lot of initiation and care and concern to the entire fraternity of the commerce. So people are there to help you, support you. Please make use of that support. Okay. With this, again, I request the coordinator to take further movement.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Before going to the next speaker, I am very much thankful for the Apparao, sir. Of course, Gajendra Babu Garu, there are some questions are there.
Okay.
If Apparao sir is allowing, 1 or 2 questions are there, sir.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, because behalf of all the participants, then 1 or 2 questions are there. Just I wanted to read out that, because all the people unmuting, talking, it will get a lot of disturbance.
Okay.
So I'm reading 1 or 2 questions, sir. First question is it necessary to frame hypothesis?
Hypothesis is not compulsory. Hypothesis, it depends on the nature of research you can propose. Otherwise, they can proceed with objectives only. Objectives are compulsory. Hypothesis is not compulsory for project work.
Correct, sir.
And
And
it is not compulsory.
another question: do we have to do internship compulsory for MCOM?
Internship is also not now compulsory, but we are proposing for the next year, next time, because yesterday only we have discussed.
Yeah.
But for commerce project work, internship is not compulsory. But they can submit only the project work report to the college, 3 copies. Then one can be sent to the exam branch, and 2 can be retained at the college. It is not compulsory.
Yeah, another question, sir. If I am doing project on unrecognized sector, what tools can be used?
Unrecognized. Tools means it depends on topic. Because unrecognized sector, normally for unrecognized, people use primary data. Unrecognized means unregistered, not recognized. I think unregistered, isn't it?
Unorganized.
Unorganized. We have no organized sector, unorganized sector. For unorganized, generally we use it depends on title. If they give title, I can give answer. Because unorganized sector, like just now I shared, the construction workers. It is unorganized sector, construction work. Problems of construction labor is unorganized. No, there are no, except labor laws, nothing is there. No specific rate and no timings. Sometimes night also they are working. So it is organized like banks. no organized. No, they have timings. No, 10:30 to 5 or something like that. So now.
Sir, submission, sir, small. Sir,
Hmm.
unorganized section student posed, sir, that is a real estate unorganized section. They're asking, they're doing the project in the real estate, regarding the real estate,
Yes.
which is unorganized. How can they have the hypothesis and objectives?
Unorganized objectives, they can study phenomena. If any problem is there, they can identify that problem. They can study. For that they have to develop the objectives, and whatever tools are required. Like they can use otherwise t-test also they can apply if it is less than 30 sample size.
Yeah, in continuation of that, in organized sector, retail sector, or the real estate, they can formulate the objective. The real estate sector is going to create the employment. To create the employment opportunities under the real estate sector, is there any problems of the real estate sectors? Likewise, they can formulate the objectives. So based upon to that, they can come out like socio-economic factors of the particularly who are working into the construction work. Likewise, they can formulate the objectives.
No, even
Other organized sector, they are asking is a dairy.
vegetable vendors also unorganized only.
Dairy,
Isn't it?
vegetable vendors, dairy, yes, sir.
Can give some idea. Professor Patrick will give about the organized, unorganized problems.
Because of time limit, sir. Thank you, Professor Parao, sir, for giving a wonderful lecture and mind-blowing information to the students, which they can do the excellent project. So thank you very much, sir. So we'll move on to the next speaker. Dr. Kankipati Srinivasa Rao is the Associate Professor of Commerce, Government Degree College, Kukatpalli, Hyderabad. He did his MCom from Hindu College, Machilipatnam. He's obtained PhD degree from HNB, Central University, Srinagar, and is having 22 years of experience. The author is made 3 textbooks and member board of studies in many institutions. Is also research guide for PhD student, and he was submitted 2 research projects, minor and major research project for UGC. He is also adjudicator for many universities for different confidential works. He is also resource person for the different academic institutions in India. He has also published 72 research papers in various national and international journals, and is also presented in many seminars. He is a member editorial board for 25 national and international journals for the various countries. He is also presented and delivered keynote speaker in different technical sessions. He is a member in various professional bodies. He is trained program officer from Government of India for National Service Scheme, NSS. So with this, I'm very happy that I can call up Dr. Kankipati Srinivas.
Yes, sir.
To take out the next session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, it's clear.
You're audible, yes.
Thank you, sir. So thank you very much. I am really delighted to be associated with you, the stalwarts of Osmania University. I am really thankful to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Osmania University, Professor Ravindra sir, and I'm also thankful Professor Channappa sir, the senior most professor in the department. And I'm also thankful for the opportunity given Shekhar sir, Patrick sir, and also Aparo sir, and Gajendra Babu sir also there on the screen. I'm thankful to all of you for giving me this great opportunity to speak, to associate with you in this afternoon session. So I was asked to speak on review of literature, and because of paucity of time, allow me to go into the details so that I can speak on that topic. Please bear with me for a few seconds. Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, visible.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Make it full screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me. I was asked, as I said, review of literature and its preparation. So review of literature is very important component in the research. We're all and my many student friends are also there, postgraduate students who are doing preparing the project work for their MCOM, and from different universities and affiliated colleges from Osmania University, including. So for all those students, this is very important aspect for having this project report, how to prepare and all that. So keeping in view, the review of literature is one of the important components that should be taken into consideration, so that you can prepare, the students can prepare the project work very effectively. So now let us go into the details of the project work. And here I'm going to discuss about, at present before you, the concept of review of literature, talk about the need and purpose of review of literature, certain functions of literature review, and review of literature, framing research questions. How do you frame the research questions? Why the research questions are to be framed? And what is the need of research questions? Why these research questions are to be framed? And how it play the role in the research and all that. That we'll discuss in one slide. And also, I'll talk about where to collect the review of literature. There are different sources that are available today. We should say thanks to the technology, that because we have the technology in our hands, and the students, it has become very easy for them to conduct the research nowadays. Earlier, the way back, some 20 years or 15 years back, the story was different. Conduct research was very difficult, but nowadays it is very easy by availing the sources, materials different from different sources. You can easily conduct, the students can easily conduct the research. So the only thing is, interest is very important. If you have the interest, my dear students, if you have the interest, then you can go ahead with the investigations, and you can find out identify the problem, and can find out the solutions, and can be offered to the section of people, whoever is suffering with that, or whoever is associated with that. So, research is all about the problem and the solution. So research, the problem should be identified, and ultimately, after analyzing collection of data, analyzing all that, then you are supposed to give certain solutions or suggestions which will be helpful to the section of people, whoever is there suffering with the problem. They will come out of the problem. So that is the main purpose of conduct of any research, whether it's social science research or any, for that matter, any research, any type of research, is for giving certain solutions or suggestions. So that we talk about, and also will how the review of literature should correlate with these things, that I will talk about. And where to collect the review of literature, sources of review of literature, types of sources of knowledge, all these things I've discussed, and also talked about critical search of the sources of review of literature, and also structure of and organization of the reviews, how you are supposed to structure the review of literatures when you're going through the available review of literature, when you're going through, how you are supposed to structure, how you are supposed to frame it, organize it. That I will talk about for a few minutes. And also methods of writing review of literature. At the end of the day, once you go through the different types of review of literature pertaining to your problem, then understanding, after getting or acquiring the knowledge, then you are supposed to start writing off review of literature for your problem, for your study, for your topic. So how you have to write, how to present the review of literature without a plagiarism is most important. So that we'll talk about, and also finally recording your reading review of literature. So this is the last part. That recording is nothing but, after once you go through the literature review, then you are supposed to write it in a proper manner, in a chronological order, and all that. So all those things we'll look in the last slide. So that is one important area. Now let us go into the details of the review of literature. First of all, let us know about what is the concept of literature. So it's all about the summarizes the previous related studies. So you need to summarize the previous studies. Why? Because once you identify the problem, in fact, the research identification of research problem is important as a primary step. Afterwards, it's followed by the review of literature. So you need to summarize whatever review of literatures that are available available that as a researcher, as an investigator, you need to go through it and you have to summarize it and you have to give the specifications of their previous studies and all that, and how it is related or correlated to your topic also you are supposed to mention. That is one thing. And review of literature, you see, review of literature categorize, evaluate, critically analyze. So once you found certain reviews, you are supposed to evaluate. Evaluation is very important in the sense it includes. So how the review of past studies or past literature which is available and related to your topic, how it is useful to your present study or whatever problem that you have taken up for conduct of investigations or conduct of research. In what way it is useful or what way it is correlated, that you are supposed to mention in that. That is one important area. And next you have identifying the topic and its gap. So the gap, identifying the gaps are very important. Research, review of literature helps the investigator, the researcher, to find out the gaps of the previous studies. So because these identifying the gaps are very important, because on the basis of these gaps only, you are supposed to frame the objectives, and you are supposed to, once you frame the objectives as rightly stated by Apparao sir and Channappa sir, are the directions to conduct investigations or research or move forward. So in that way, the gaps are to be identified by going through the previous studies, latest literature which is available, that you have to, the students or the investigator researcher has to go through it and identify and understand the knowledge of it. That is one area. And then next you have examine present methodological related work also. So in the sense, methodological work, research, review of literature is not confined to only one particular area. Of course, it tells us about the previous study, whatever previous study that you are going through. Naturally, you can understand many things out of it. For example, methodological issues, you can understand how the methodological aspects are presented in their studies, and what are the tools, data analysis, how it has been done, how the objectives are formulated, how the hypotheses are formulated, all these aspects. The present investigator, the researcher will come to know. So that is one important advantage or benefit to the researcher when he reviews the previous literature which is available. And then you have examine present methodological issues, as I mentioned just now, and also to demonstrate researcher knowledge is the area of interest to carry out. So the point is, as I mentioned in the previous few seconds back, area of interest is very important. It's not that somebody has to give, my dear students, please listen. It's not that somebody has to give the topic to you. It is all about your interest. So identify your interest and idea domain. In your own domain, what is your interest? So that you have to identify. Once you identify the idea of your interest, so then you can start reading off, as mentioned our previous speakers, Apparao sir and Channappa sir. You can go through many number of books available nowadays on online, offline. There are many number of books and literature is available. So once you start reading off those books and all that on your idea of interest, so that what happens, you will find out the problem and different problems you will come across, and you will start writing off the identification of problem, and then you can start or move forward about to conduct the research about it may be either the problems or challenges or customer oriented or consumer oriented, whatever it is. So all these things, once you go through different books and all that, review of literature which is available, then you will have abundant knowledge. So with that abundant knowledge, that's why review of literature gives you lot of knowledge. So without knowledge, you cannot conduct any type of research. So that is why acquiring knowledge is very important. That is why the supervisors, guides, when you join in PhD work or any other, the project work, when you carry out, or anything that towards research when you carry out, will suggest you to go through different reviews related to your topic. Why? Because to acquire the knowledge is very important, so that you can conduct research without any hassle. Hassle-free will be there. So that is most important. So that is why people will suggest you to go through the review of literature. So through review of literature, you can find many things. You will come to know many things. So those things will give you a design for your research, and you can easily conduct accordingly. So that is one important aspect. And then you have the next slide. When you see here, a need and purpose of a review of literature, when you see here, there are many points are there. The point is here to know the background of the study area. First of all, the area that you have chosen, or the topic, or the problem that you have chosen, or the domain knowledge that you have chosen to conduct or investigations or research on a particular domain or area, that you have to go through about the background of that problem, background of that particular area. First of all, you should understand. And then once you understand, then you will acquire certain knowledge, and then you can move forward from there. And next, you have to know the conceptualization is most important. So conceptualization happens through review of literature. That is why we suggest to the scholars, to the PG students, that they are supposed to take up the review of literature to have the knowledge of, the conceptualization. Keywords also, we tell keywords, and keywords will come out through conceptualization and all that. So once you have the conceptualization knowledge, then you can move forward. So that is one important aspect which comes from the review of literature and benefits to the scholars, or benefits to the researchers or investigators. That is one important point. And then that comes through review of literature. And you have to determine the research problem. So once the problem you have identified, in how the problem, what are the characteristics of the problem, how the problem is to be addressed, all those things also you can learn many things by reviewing different literature which are relevant to your problem or topic. That is one important area. And also you have it is identify keywords, as I mentioned a few seconds back. Keywords also are to be identified. Keywords are the heart of the project. So once you identify the certain keywords from the topic, or from through conceptualization, or going through different review of literatures related to your topic, then you will find out certain keywords, and you can frame the topic and all that from topic, and certain through conceptualization, certain keywords you will find out. Those keywords will help you or give you a direction to conduct research and investigations. And you have the researcher can present the need of the research plan and all that. So here the point is the researcher should always identify should prepare the need of the research, how to conduct, how to investigate, and what is the necessity of conduct of research on that particular issue. All these things will come to know by reviewing the literature which is available related to your topic. That is one thing. And identify what has not investigated the problem previous research. This is most important. That's why we usually suggest the scholars, they are project, whoever is taking up, for them we'll suggest that future course of future research also should be mentioned at the end of the project, end of the thesis, or end of the research work. Why? Because the review of the future research is nothing but whatever things that are omitted or neglected or omitted, left over, because we cannot conduct in a broader scope, because there are certain limitations for every research. So that is why usually what happens, certain things we cannot investigate. So whatever we cannot investigate, those things you are supposed to mention in the future research, so that it is feasible or it is convenient for the future researchers to conduct the research or investigations on those issues. So that is why the future research aspects also should be mentioned. That can help through review of literature can help in that matter. And also you have review of literature helps the researcher to, as I mentioned in the previous slide, that make his study unique. So unique, it's whatever suggestions that you are giving, you are going to offer for a section of people. if they face any problem, they should come out of that problem by implementing your suggestions and recommendations. So that is why this uniqueness should be there in your work, so that helps really to the deprived people or sections of the people who are facing the problem. And then to find gaps of the study is going to cover. Yes, the gaps are to be identified. The review of literature, going through the review of literature, the purpose of going through the review of literature available is that the gaps are to be identified, as I mentioned earlier. Gaps are to be identified. Once the gaps are identified, those are the gaps which are not investigated issues earlier. So those issues you are supposed to take, and then you have to start preparation or formulating the objectives on the basis of that, so that you can move forward to conduct investigations on those areas. Already the work has already done, and the investigations has already done, and some suggestions are given. Say, for example, in a research study, there is no need to conduct on the same topic, and it is mere useless and meaningless. Conduct on the same study without having any diversions, or without having any different aspects. By taking taking aspects, the same aspects, if you can take and investigate, it is of no use and it's of useless. And also, all of you know that social science research is not consistent, because the problem of today will not be consistent. Problem of today will not be the problem of tomorrow, and the problem of tomorrow will not be the problem of day after tomorrow. So that is the nature of the social science research, especially. So that is why you need to conduct the problems. You need to conduct the research and investigation, the problems of different sections of the people, and the importance of the problem, and how and what are the reasons and background of the problem. All those things you can understand in depth by taking into consideration the review of literature. That is one aspect. And you have the current state of knowledge on the problem identified. So the present state of knowledge should know. That is why before you start the investigations or conducting survey and all that, you need to have certain knowledge, that is conceptual knowledge, and conceptual knowledge you should acquire. So that is why review of literature, as I mentioned earlier, will be helpful to the investigator. So that is one important. And also, as I mentioned, objectives, to set for the objectives, the review of literature will be helpful by identifying, as I mentioned, by identifying the gaps of previous studies related to your topic. So, and also not only objectives, to formulate the hypothesis, also to formulate hypothesis, tentative statements, whatever tentative statements that you imagine, assumptions, your assumptions are there on the problem, that can be written in a statement manner. For that also, review of literature helps the investigator. And then not only that, there are different components. Research is a combination of different components. All the components in the sense, it is the review of literature. It's a methodological issues will be there, as I mentioned earlier, and hypothesis will be there, objectives will be there. These are all can be formulated, can be formulated and created with the help of review of literature only. So that is why the review of literature is very important component. That's what I said a few seconds back. And so methodological issues, when you come across different studies, if you go through what happens, you will come to know in different studies what methodologies they have adopted and how they have achieved their objectives and all that at the end of the study project. All these things you will come to know by the investigator. So that is why review of literature is very important. That is why to start your investigations or surveys, you are supposed to study the review of literature. Abundant review of literature and different problems are available on the online sources are also there. Of course, the sources and all that I will explain you in. I will present before you in the next slides and all that. And that is one aspect here. And now, if we move on to the next one, the functions of literature review. Basically, we have 4 functions. We can say that here. They say, for example, focus on previous research. Review of literature, the functions are the focus on previous research. Yes, you have to focus on previous research to gain knowledge, so that if you gain knowledge, the quality will come out, or quality output will come out. That is the main purpose behind. So that is why focus on previous research will be suggested to the researchers, to the investigators, so that they will come across that, so that they will have idea and they can identify the gaps, as I mentioned, objectives and all that can be formulated. And those are the directions, as Aparna sir said rightly, the directions to the investigator. So investigator here often should check whether he is going according to the directions, or sometimes deviations also will take place. So deviations should not be there. That is why once in a while the researcher has to check whether the research is going towards the objectives or not, or any deviations takes place. If you identify as a researcher deviations that are taking place, you can remove them. So that is why draft, redraft like that. So many drafts will take up as far as PhD is concerned. Of course, in the project, even for project also, you need to check all the texts and all the information that you are incorporating, whether it is related or not, or whether you are deviating from your topic and all that, or difficult or problem and all that, you need to check as a researcher investigator. So that is one function of review of literature. And also you have shows how your study fills the gap. This is most important. You see, the review of literature, the basic idea, what I told you, what I mentioned a few seconds back, that the gaps are to be identified, and the gaps are the heart of, the formulating the objectives and all that. So that is why how you are going to fill the gaps. So whatever already existing research is there, that existing research on the same existing research, say existing problem, if you conduct, there is no, as I mentioned, there is no meaning of it. So that is why certain gaps are to be identified, as I mentioned, and those gaps are to be accomplished in the form of objectives once you formulate, and you are supposed to accomplish it at the throughout the project. You have to check it. So that is one important function. And you have the third one, if you see, necessity for your study. So every review of literature, that's what I'm telling you, all my dear students, that you need to see the necessity, need, and the relevance of the studies that you are going through for your problem. So the problem is once identified, then related to that problem, you need to check different studies, different reviews which are available on the online platform, offline platform, so that necessity, you can draw the necessity, and then you can move forward. So that is one of the important functions of the review of literature. But also, finally, you have sets boundaries. So as I mentioned earlier, a few seconds back, that you cannot investigate the entire problem. Once the problem is identified, the entire problem you cannot give the suggestions for that. Of course, certain things definitely will be overlooked and will be neglected. It's knowingly will be neglected. Why? Because there are many constraints. So time constraints will be there, materials constraints will be there, resources constraints will be there. Like that, many constraints will be. That is why you are supposed to frame certain boundaries to conduct investigations or research. So these are the basic important functions that review of literature is offering for us, and you have to understand, my dear students. And then if you come to the next one, the review of literature, which is review of literature, framing research questions. The research questions are very important. These research questions, to my mind, research questions can be generated through gaps. So, and also objectives and research questions can be generated through gaps on. So how you are supposed to frame the research questions and all that. Certain information I have given here, you just look at what has been done before. You have to observe related to your studies, and what have others said earlier related to your problem, and what are the gaps they have, what are the unidentified or uninvestigational issues in their studies, and what their findings and all that. You have to go through, and you have to make a note of it. And then what is the relevance of for the present study that you have, the problem that you have taken up, and the relevance also you are supposed to identify. You are supposed to check it, examine it, and then what is the difference of the previous study and your present study? What uniqueness that you have, that you are going to give in your through your research, that should be that should be understand and have the knowledge from the by reviewing the research, previous studies and all that. And also you have agreements, disagreements will be given generally in the previous research studies, so that you can understand the agreement, what are the points that are agreed upon, and what are the disagreements and discussions that are taking place in the previous research studies. So that all these things, if you understand, if you go through, you will acquire a lot of knowledge. So that knowledge will helpful to you when you are starting report writing, you can interpret all these knowledge. You can interpret in that way. Review of literature helps the investigator, the researcher. Review of literature is not mere help in one. It is not confined to one particular component of the research. That's what I mentioned earlier also. It is a component which is associated with all the components. It is associated. You cannot detach the review of literature for other components of research because it is associated with all the components in research. That is why the difference you have to identify in the review of literature, the agreements, disagreements, are there flaws, any gaps are there, or any mistakes or wrongs are taking place in the findings and all that you need to observe, and you will come to know knowledge of those things and research history of those areas and whatever already conducted, and survey university database. You can find the university based database and other databases which are used in those available literature, that you will come to know how the database is used and what is the importance of the database when they use it. All those things you will come to know. And abstract, how the abstract has been made in their previous studies. Abstract, all of you might be knowing very well, my dear students, because in the classrooms, the supervisors, your concerned supervisors, sirs and guides will explain you. It's a brief gist of the entire, the project. It includes, the background of the problem, purpose, the objectives, in one single sentences like that. You have to minimize. In brief, you have to mention purpose, objective, and also major finding. One of the major findings of the project. All those things you are supposed, application, novelty, all these things should be incorporated in the abstract in a brief manner. So how the abstract are to be made, that also you will come to know once you go through different types of, the research, review of research related to your topic. And library consultations also you can identify, and how you have to get the sources through libraries and all that. And next you have see here another important aspect, which is collection of review of literature, database for research to identify. So you need to identify the database, what are the sources that are available, because without data, how can you conduct the research? So the database is also you have to collect from the review of literature. That is why I told the knowledge, it's abundant knowledge that you can get. It is not that only the previous studies that you understand, there's methodological issues you can understand, the conceptualization you can understand, and the gaps of those studies also you can understand. These are all nothing but data only. So you can understand the different, from where these sources are available for them and how they have conducted, what are the sources of their database and all that you will come to know once you go through it. And also you have research question and keywords to recognize. That's what in the previous few seconds back I told you. First of all, once you identify the research problem, then you need to identify the keywords and according to your interest of topic and all that. Then you can elaborate with the keywords and all that, because your entire project depends upon the keywords. So that is why the keywords are very keywords in the meaning itself you can understand, which play a vital role in your project and all that. For comprehensive, in a comprehensive manner, if you want to analyze it, the keywords, on the base of keywords, you have to conduct research. So these keywords also can be identified along with the gaps and all that. That helps you. So that is one thing. And you have another important point: prepare list of journals. So once you identify a particular problem, what you have to do is you have to related to your problem, what journals are available nowadays to you. There are many journals, online journals, offline journals are there. Majority of the journals nowadays, all of you might be knowing that online journals are there. Of course, there are some predatory journals also there. You should be very careful about it, because if you send an article within 2-3 days, you will get the publication and all that. These journals are not very, very dangerous. So without peer review and all that, if any journalist published your article in 1 or 2 days, you are not supposed to trust those journals, because those are all predatory journals. Within few days, your article will be removed from the online sources. So that happens, that danger is there. So you should be very careful about those articles and all that. So the point is here, journals related topic related topics, related journals for your topic, you need to identify so that you can go through those articles through journals and all that. And another important point is that views from experts. It's not that all the time you have to read the books, journals, and different bulletins and government unpublished, published documents. Not all these things all the time. You are supposed to, once you frame the finalize the research problem, you need to meet some experts who are who are conducted a lot of work in those areas. You are supposed to consult them so that you can get a lot of use from them, so that will be helpful for you to move forward your research work, and that will be helpful for you in writing of your report writing and all that. And not only report writing, in the analysis part, analysis areas, and in wherever it is important for their views and all that, you can incorporate. So in that way, you are supposed to meet the different experts and all that. Colleagues, you have to discuss with the colleagues and the people who are encountering the problem. You are supposed to meet them so that direct information, first-hand information you can get from them through interviews and all that. So this all information is very important and useful for conduct of the research in an effective manner. Qualitative research, quality research you can ensure in that way. So that is one important point. And the search, as far as sources are concerned, as I mentioned earlier, a few seconds back, that Google Scholar is there nowadays. You can search the different citations, the different references, citations, and different the bibliographies and different books, journals, and different citations. You can search through Google Scholar. Medline is there, ResearchGate is there, Shodhganga is there, Elsevier is there. Another source, there are different sources. Abundant sources are available nowadays to conduct review of literature, to have the knowledge for your topic. And you have another important area when you see here in continuation to the previous one, that is all about sources of literature review. When you in continuation to the previous one, that books, as I mentioned, books, previous research papers, popular media prints, you can take. You have to go through so that you can have, the purpose is to acquire knowledge for your particular problem, whatever problem that you have identified. For that, to have the knowledge or abundant information, to have the knowledge in depth, you need to go through all these sources: index, bibliographies, letters, diaries, etc., empirical studies, memos, minutes, right? Historical records, commercial reports, unpublished, I told just now, unpublished, published reports, all these things, conference proceedings which are not published or published, unpublished. These are all things that you have to go through so that you will have good knowledge, so that you can conduct research in a systematic manner, in a scientific manner, in a qualitative manner, in a quantitative manner also you can conduct. So not only that, government, from government also you can get certain, the inputs. Government reports are available sometimes for certain problems, so that you can go through it. Published, unpublished, as I mentioned. Scholarly journals are there. Online journals are available, as I mentioned. Research projects are available online. World Wide Web, www.world webs are also helps you to get information, to have the knowledge on your domain or on your area or on your problem that you take up. Encyclopedias helps you, and also places, and when you visit certain places which are related to your topic or problem, also can get a lot of knowledge by meeting the people and all that. And you can verify certain theses which are related to your topic, so that you can gain knowledge. Statistics, handbooks, data, manuscripts, these are all helpful for getting the information or acquiring the statistics from different statistics handbooks and all that. So manuscripts also available. You can, all these inputs or sources are helpful to the investigator, the researcher, that can carry out his research project effectively. That is one important point. And you have types of research sources of knowledge. So primary sources, there are basically three important resources that you can identify. You can go into that. So, for example, primary resources, secondary resources, tertiary resources. Primary resources means, direct conducting survey and get the information, direct first-hand information from the respondents or from the people who encounter the problem or facing problems. So, and diaries and, the including documents such as diaries, records, interviews by conducting interviews or conducting surveys, by administering the questionnaire schedules and all that, and field work by administering the questionnaires and all that, you can get the information. That is one is important, which is primary resources. And the secondary resources, when you see, describe or analyze the primary resources like, dictionaries, encyclopedias, textbooks, and books, articles that interpret or review the research works related to your topic or problem. And when you come to the third one, that is tertiary resources, it is to compile, digest, compilation of earlier information in a form of book and all that. Those things you can refer to have the better knowledge about your problem and all that. And secondary sources, indexes, handbooks, these are all very much important. Almanacs, these are all very much important for to have a better knowledge on the subject or on the topic or on the problem that you have chosen by the investigator, by the researcher. And you have another important point, critical search of the sources of review of literature. Basically, you have to create research questions, keywords are the basis of, the search. So once you create, that's what I mentioned earlier also, research questions and keywords are the objectives are the directions for smooth conduct of the research. So for that, critical sources of review of literature helps the investigator to track the project in a right direction, whether journal is well cited or not. So when you are going through certain journals, you need to check whether journal is well cited or not. That's what I told predatory journals. Nowadays, many journals are predatory journals are there, and without citations, without any background and all that. Just like that, they will publish it and they mint the money. Nowadays, you can see. So those journals, you just keep it aside and you observe the journals which are well cited and all that, so that you can get good information. And that information, you will help you to enlarge or to enhance your knowledge through towards your problem. And also you have checked whether a journal is peer reviewed or not. That's what I mentioned a few seconds ago. Peer reviewed journals generally will take some time to publish. So those journals, if you can select for your related problem, so that you can, if you can go through those things, you can understand many things and you can get knowledge. Many informations you will come to know, and that will be helpful for you in analyzation of your problem and incorporating or giving knowledge, or whether it is on chapter basis. For example, there are 5 chapters, my dear students, 5 chapters, first chapter, second chapter, third chapter. Wherever the review of literature, your knowledge is suited, there you can incorporate and you can express beautifully. And that is what we call, the original work, which is very important for you to submit. So that is one important. Next, you have assessment of the source. Source in the sense of fact-based assessment, you have to check it and check the theoretical framework. How in the review of literature, the theoretical framework has presented, you have to observe, so that knowledge information will be helpful to prepare when you are preparing your work or project report. And check the results whether unbiased or not. When you are going through, so you see, the point is, I'm telling you, my dear students, the point is various issues you are supposed to examine when you are going through review of literature. Various components, various issues you are supposed to examine and check it, and you have to acquire those knowledge. So all this information will be helpful in preparation of your project and all that. So that is why check the relevance of the sample size and all that. So sample size also relevance, there's a formula for that, whether they have scientifically sample size is designed or not. That also how they have designed the sample size, what is the total population, all these issues you will come to know, and having the knowledge if you go through the review of literature, previous studies. And keep the sources from where you are obtaining to make bibliography. That is very important. Because it comes through sources only. So sources, different sources from where you have obtained, and the bibliography related to that, whether it is related to your topic and correlate it, whether it is related to your topic, you can extract from there. And extract in the sense you are not supposed to copy it. You are supposed to paraphrasing and all that, and the gist of that information only you are supposed to take it, and you have to incorporate or present in your study. So that for that purpose, review of literature helps you a lot to the investigator or the researcher. Analytical observation, when you are going through literature, keywords should be kept in mind while going through. Yes, that's what I told you. Deviations, unknowingly, deviations will take place. So that is why you need to check time to time whether you are going according to the design, according to the objectives, according to the plan of the research. You need to check sometime, all the time, or often, frequently you have to check, so that it will track at that time when you are examining the deviations or any deviation. When you are examining what happens, you will automatically will come onto the track, and you will move forward according to your objectives and according to your plan of research design, according to plan of research and all that. You can move forward accordingly. And you have analytical observation. That's what I mentioned. Keywords should be kept in while going through. Prepare simultaneous. All these things should be kept in mind, so that what happens, there is no question of, the deviations will not take place, and you will be properly conducted, you will be properly investigated, and the right responses will come to you. And that once you receive the right responses, so that what happens, you can quality output you can give, and the suggestions, quality suggestions and important suggestions you can give, so that end of the day, the sections of the people who have sufferers are there, are facing problem, they will come out of the problem. So that is the main, the purpose. So all these components covers from in the research, review of research, review of literature. So that one is one important aspect. And structure and organization of the reviews. How you have to, yes, you have identified certain reviews, and you need to organize it, you have to structure it, and you have to structure in the sense you have to write it in a systematic manner. There is a plan for that, to write, to interpret, to present. So the structure, when you see here there are basically three structures are there. Introduction of the review, and the body conclusions. Say, for example, introduction, if you say idea of the topic, the introduction includes the idea should be incorporated, should be mentioned, should present, and the topic, idea of the topic should present, and the body as a whole, if you see discussions or sources related to the topic, analyzation, of course, different chapters will also be there in that, in between, from introduction chapter to last chapter. So these, as a whole body of the project, when you see discussions, sources, analysis, all these things related to your topic, you can identify, you can have the knowledge by going through the different review of literatures when you go through. And conclusion, recommendations, need to present what the researcher drawn from reviews. So this is very important, because once if you fail to identify the findings and findings of the previous research related to a topic or related to your domain, then what happens? It is a failure of the investigations, and then you cannot give the proper recommendations to the present on the present problem. So that is why recommendations need to present. Whether you have to observe what type of, whether recommendations are related to, are relevant to the previous study, whatever you are going through. Whatever recommendations are incorporated in that particular study, you need to check whether the recommendations, suggestions are relevant to the topic of their study, and all that you need to understand, so that it will helps you for your work. And organization, as far as organization is concerned, when you see, get the latest published material. So that is most important. You need to check it, whether it is the latest published material. Because why I'm telling you latest published material means, if you go through the latest published material, you will come to know what is the present situations, what is the latest situations that are taking place in the problem that you have chosen, on the problem that you have chosen. So that helps you a lot. So that is why better always, of course, previous, that does not mean that previous reviews should be omitted. You have to take them also, and the present published material also, if you can see it, so that you will have a broader perspective idea, and that will help you for your work and all that. In that way, review of literature helps you. and identify relevant documents, published, unpublished, as I mentioned earlier, critically evaluate summary existing work, and all these points will be benefit for you when you go through the review of literature. Not only that, avoid published material. You are not supposed to take the same thing, same information or the source from the published material, because you may catch the plagiarism problem and all that. So that is why, to avoid the plagiarism and all that, because plagiarism is very important nowadays. They copy, when you copy easily, it can be identified, and you will be punished in certain ways for certain projects, not for your project. Of course, plagiarism is also, of course, our respected department of Usmania University is planning to introduce. I heard the other day from Channappa sir, introduce the plagiarism also from the coming years. Of course, if it is implemented, then it will be better, because the original work we are expecting from the Commerce Department of Usmania University, expecting original work. So original work in the sense, first of all, you need to conduct surveys and all that. At least survey, if you conduct on a real basis, a real-time basis, so that it will be helpful for you. So that is one important thing. So to avoid the plagiarism and all that, use paraphrasing and all that. So if you extract certain information from a particular work, you are supposed to, as I mentioned, you are not supposed to present the same as it is. Some paraphrasing and all that, you use it and present in your work.
Yeah.
And scholarly.com, summarizing the text and all that, chronological method, period, time, all these things you are supposed to mention. And then you have another important point when you see here, the methods of writing review of literature, catalog. There are two important methods, catalog method and dialogue analysis method. Under catalog method, what had happened is supposed to be understand, and that will be helpful for you in incorporating or giving presentation in your project and all. What an author found and his interpretations, all these things will come under catalog method. And dialogue analysis method, answering questions, analyzing, interpreting the reading and all that will come under dialogue analysis method. Because I can explain you in detail, but the time for positive time constraints are there. That is why I'm restricted and going a little bit early, bit speed. So limitations, writing review of literature with a critic. Limitations of the study, you are supposed to mention or know about the limitations of your study, how the limitations of the study is presented in the previous literatures that are available. And when you go through, you can understand it. It might, and also not only that, it might more illustrate and broad perspective you can understand when you go through different types of the literature review related to your topic. And also it could be more solution oriented. Yes, that should be taken care of. Strengths and weaknesses of the study also to be addressed. This is most important. So then it will be, because end of the day, the quality of the research is important. That is why these are all things that we need to taken care of. So while writing review of literature, there are certain do's and don'ts. These are very important for you people, because you are all beginners in the research, my dear students. Of course, you can conduct in future also. It is not for the purpose of the project. My advice to all my dear student friends, you have to continue the research, so that what happens, you can think in a different way. If you are engaged in a research activities, what happens, your thinking will be different, and creative thinking, critical thinking, analytical thinking, all these things you can improve in your mind, and that will be helpful for taking correct decisions in your personal life also. So that is why you please continue. It's not that only for the MCOM project purpose. You please continue in your future also by taking different problems, and you study about them, investigate them, and then give certain scientific solutions, so that it will be helpful for the society as well. So that is one important one. So when you come to while writing of a review of literature, do's, current state of knowledge and the proposed research, as I mentioned in the earlier slide also, that you should take, because that helps you a lot in your presentation and your analysis. And also it is easy to understand, comprehensive on the study. That's what. So the review of literature, end of the day, will give you a benefit of comprehensive. You can present your study in a comprehensive manner. So how you will get that quality means, because you are studying. When you study when you go through different review of literatures, you will get that type of the knowledge. So that knowledge helps you in analyzing different components, how to analyze and all that, you will get the knowledge. So in that way, it helps you. That's what I'm telling you. Review of literature is not just for the sake of review of literature. It is associated with many components, almost all the components associated with the review of literature in the research. So that is why you are not supposed to take it as a easy manner, and you are pay concentration to acquire maximum knowledge, abundant knowledge on your topic, on your problem, so that you can present well. So end of the day, and quality research also we can ensure. So that is one important point. And you have, while writing review of literature, there are, as I mentioned, it should be structure one as a theme-based. And before that, it is easy to understand, comprehensive, and it should be structured one. So there should be a structure. I already told you the introduction, body, and conclusion. So that structure you are supposed to maintain. You are supposed to incorporate. You are supposed to ensure it, and then it will become a good report. Your report will become a good report. And also, it should categorize, evaluate, and analyze about others' work and propose area of your research. So once you go through different previous literature, so that you will have an idea, knowledge how to analyze certain situations, certain figures, certain the figures how to analyze, and all that you will come to know. And what are the methods that earlier researchers are adopted, and those methods whether you can apply for your work and all that, you can come to a conclusion. So that what happens, better methods you can adopt for your analysis and all that. That is the important thing. So that is why all these things you should keep in mind. These are all do's. In a similar way, in the same manner, while writing a review of literature, there are certain don'ts also. It is not a list of books you are preparing for your research work and all that. It is not just a description, not like I think, I believe. You are not supposed to use these words, because you already come to conclusion that what you are not supposed to, and you have the specific knowledge about your topic, your problem. So, and when you have the abundant knowledge or depth knowledge about your problem, and there is no need of there is no need, and there is no problem to write. There is no need to write. I think, I believe. These words are not supposed to use, because you can give specifically, you can give correctly, promptly, you can give whatever ideas that you have, you can give it. So that is why to give specific ideas or correct ideas, review of literature helps you. That is why we'll suggest you to go through the review of literature. In that sense, what happens then? There is no place for I think, I believe. These words, there will be no place if you have the abundant knowledge or depth knowledge of your problem. And another important concept when you come across here, record your reading. This is most important. So you have to, once review of literature, once you review different types of literatures and all that, you have to record it. That is most important. So how to record means the author's names you are supposed to mention, and then the title of the paper, report or book, if it is in the case of report, or in the case of book, title of the paper, title has to be mentioned. The date of publication should be mentioned. It is if it is a book or a report, you have to understand what I'm telling you. You have to maintain this sequence. How do you write? How do you maintain the sequence if you go through the review of literature? So there you can find all these things. So this is also important knowledge for you, and important for your report writing and all that. So this sequential order also, you can have the knowledge on these sequential order, sequential points, so that you can prepare the report in a beautiful manner. So it is a chapter, an edited book, the title, or you have the other things. Say, for example, editor of the book and page numbers of the chapter, or if it is paper in a journal, all these things. So you need to observe, examine these things, so that your work will become effective. So that is why it is necessary for you to examine all these things through review of literature.
Dr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am completing within 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Language and arrangement in review of literature. You are supposed to use. This shows that when you are analyzing the data, you are supposed to use start the interpretations like this. It reveals, it shows that the calls attention, this importance, significance, right? These words, these it should start with these words so that it can be useful for your study and all that. So these things also you can understand by going through the review of literature. So another important point, yes, that's all. Questions or comments, if anything is there, you're welcome. Of course, I have gone a little bit, I took a little bit more time. I'm sorry if I take more time because
Right.
there are many issues to discuss, but because of the paucity of time, I'm unable to make it. And in other, when time permits, in other situations, definitely I will explain remaining whatever remaining components are there and what are the importance of those components, how these components are helpful for the research to conduct research and all that. I will explain in the next sessions if it is possible. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, sir. Thank you, Professor Channappa sir, Indrakant Shekhar sir, Patrick sir, and also Gajendra Babu, and also Jhansi madam, and all other eminent speakers on the platform. I'm very much thankful to you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. And thanks to all my student friends also. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, sir. You
Thank
told
you.
us to read more and more. That's very crisp of your presentation. Wonderful, sir. Very good.
Thank you so much, sir.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice presentation. Because of time is very less. Only 2 questions have posted here.
Yes, sir. Please welcome.
In seconds, we'll finish off, Mr. Dr. Srinivas.
Yes,
Here,
sir. Yes, please.
Shuazuddin is asking, we have to collect the data in brief or detailed information is one question.
Yes, sir. So the point is here, whether it is all depends upon the topic that you have chosen. And the project work, usually you are for MCOM project point of view, when you see, the project is for a limited period of time. So for that limited period of time, to my mind, to my knowledge permit, you are supposed to take a questionnaire for a 10 to 15 questions. I think it will be sufficient, less than 20, related to your topic, related to your problem. And if you design such a fashion that the questions, so that you can go for, even nowadays, there is no need to survey. There is no need to go to survey also. The Google Forms are available. You can prepare a Google Form and circulate to the WhatsApp groups. As I mentioned earlier, speakers rightly stated by Apurav sir and Channappa sir and Shekhar sir, that you have to, my dear students, you please take small topics, so that what happens, it will be easy for you to, because you're all beginners. So that is why better you take small topics. Say, for example, for 1 second, I will explain you consumer perceptions and buying behavior towards Swiggy and Zomato. You can take as a study. Customer perceptions and DMart, Heritage, Big Bazaar is there nowadays. So many marts are there. You can take it up. And impact of the COVID on education sector in India, in a particular Hyderabad study, as a study you can take up. Analysis of shopping behavior of online consumer study. All these
Finally,
yes.
you are saying it's a little, not enlarged.
Yeah. So the point is here, small topics. I suggested to the students, small topics you take, so that your questionnaire also.
No, sir. Review is a brief, not in detail.
Yes. Brief review of literature you are supposed to mention, because it is a project work. No need to mention 50 review of literatures or 40 of review, not necessary. Just 3, 4 or at the most 5 review of literatures, related review of literatures. You just go through it and mention. That's enough.
Yeah. Another last question. Divyasri is asking.
Yes, please.
Sir, reference, can you please suggest any journal apps or anything?
That's what in my presentation, if you observe my presentation, I have given certain sources of Mendeley is there, Google Scholar is there, and then there are so many sources are there. If it is required, I will post my PPT also in the WhatsApp group, so that you can have that. And there are many sources are there to get the information from various sources and all that. So nowadays online, because of online, you can get so many resources and sources. You can get the information out of it, and you can present the paper or project in a beautiful manner.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Because we have very less time, we'll quickly move into the next speaker. We have Professor A. Patrick, is my brother of Department of Commerce, my friend, and he's completed MCOM, MBA, PhD, and is qualified NET. Is also having plenty of different experiences, like he's a main resource person for Police Academy and UGC, and also many institutions from throughout the India, and is also a PRO, a public relation officer from Osmani University. And sir is having around 20 years of experience in teaching. It's a plenty of biodata information is there. Because of short of time, I request Patrick sir, please take over this session for 30 to 40 minutes.
I think I wouldn't make the students go hungry if I'm there. Already Chanapa sir has looked at the clock and is going. Thank you so much, Chanapa sir, for the class report and giving me this topic. And thanks to Sekhar sir for the coordination. It's not an easy thing. You find them that very difficult to manage time here. And thanks to Dharendra Babu sir for all the logistics that you go about with helping us every time. Thanks to all the students. I believe Srinivas sir is still in that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
He's a king of Tamil Nadu. He goes about with doing a lot of things there, and he still continue with that mode there.
Thank
I
you
would
so
only
much.
summarize one thing when it comes to literature. Literature forms the basis for your research. In research, we are asked not to reinvent a wheel. You're not supposed to reinvent a wheel. So the literature goes about serving a purpose, wherein you're trying to figure out what is already done. If you can figure out what is to be done, that is what is research all about. So the thing is, there are different ways, and you can go read volumes about what is literature review. But for an MCOM student, I mean, I wouldn't put it at a PhD level, but for an MCOM student, I'll tell, if you are doing what is already done, you're duplicating knowledge. You're not adding to the existing knowledge. So the thing is, you'll have to defend yourself. Somebody asks you why that topic. Somebody asks you why that objective. So you must be able to defend yourself. And in that process, you need to go about, how many literatures you do, should it be brief, another thing. I think there's a lot of those things that we can go about by looking at. I mean, the topic that's given to me is two things to speak very briefly on what is this measurement and scaling, and what are the tools that you use for analysis. A few days ago, a PhD student gets into my room and gets his volumes of data which he has already collected. And he says, tell me what tools are to be applied. I said, the tools of analysis are to be decided even before you go about with collecting the data. It's not after you collect the data that you go about with figuring out as to what tools of analysis is to be used. Just to remind all the MCOM students, I think the numbers have come down very much on the Zoom links. I don't know how many are there in the YouTube there. But just to remind that there was a paper in your MCOM and your third term, which was called as RMSA. That is research methodology for statistical analysis. I mean, that paper was actually trying to give you a foundation of getting into the project work. So you learn about what is research, what are the types of research, what are the hypotheses, what are the steps that are involved. You learn the basics of deck test and t-test in your third term. Maybe in this semester, you learn a bit of ANOVA, a bit of chi-square, whole gamut of the non-parametric tests that are there, and a bit of linear programming, game theory, decision theory. But the thing is, it's not there for fun. What we expect out of students is, whatever are these parametric and non-parametric tools. As a student of commerce, in your degree, you're studying what is called as a descriptive statistics. The field of statistics is divided into two things. You have what is called a descriptive, and you have what is called as the inferential part. So descriptive, you study measures of central tendency, measures of variations, and you talk about spurious moments and processes. You study about things to do with time series, regression, correlation, index numbers, plenty of those things. Now, when it comes, my voice is not audible?
Maybe small, little bit voice coming out from background somewhere.
I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, maybe this mic.
Mic is fine enough. It's not audible still. As you saw, the fan is falling.
Yeah, it's audible, but only thing is, Patrick sir, it's clear, but only thing is it comes from somewhere, maybe something different, not exactly.
Only from some others.
Anna, is it, am I audible now?
Yeah, fine.
Is it audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
go
yeah.
ahead.
I think I'll go on. I'll continue.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I tried switching off the fan as well. I'm here just to go over to telling students there.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are a lot of categories of numbers. The thing is, you have your hall ticket number and your roll number. But the thing is, you can't do much analysis out of it. Those numbers are meant to identify and classify you. All right. So make sure that you understand primarily what are the different types of numbers. So you've got to understand that there are numbers which tells you how to identify and classify. They're called as nominal. There are numbers which go about it giving you the ranks. They are called ordinals. There are numbers where you can only measure the range. They are called as interval. And there are all those numbers with which you can do all gamut of analysis. They come under ratio. I mean, very quickly, I'll tell you that as students of MCOM, I wish that you read a Kothari textbook for research methodology, or you read Uma Sekharan book. I think that the teachers that come here, and I've already shared it in the groups, and that can pass on to the students as well. You can read the research methodology by Naresh Malhotra. That is going to really help you out as to understand what is the nature of numbers. Not all numbers are the same. Not all numbers can be put to analysis. So the thing is, how do you identify what is the nature of the number? Because that will lead to telling you as to what tools of analysis you have to use. I mean, I thought I couldn't get very much into my PowerPoint, but if it is visible there? I think it should be visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Yeah, just to tell about a few things that are there. That is the taxonomy of statistics. If you look at, you have the descriptive one and you have the inferential one. Under the univariate, you have different things like studying mean, median, mode, standard deviation. Under bivariate, you study about correlation regression. Under multivariate, you study a lot of those things, You simply say y is equal to a plus bx, it is more of a simple regression. But if you have more than one factor, you say y is equal to a plus b1 x1 b2 x2, you're calling it for multiple regression. And there are inferential statistics. In your syllabus, you study Z-test, t-test, ANOVA, and the non-parametric ones that are there. Now, basically, what we have is the larger portion of the population. A part of the population is what we call it as sample. We collect data from the sample and we go about with working out analysis by using different tools. And in the end, what we do is what holds good for the sample, we say holds good for the population. Now, this is what we call it as the generalization part. Or this is what we call it as the inferential part. Your objectives can be anywhere along these four and whatever research you take. I mean, in theory in RMSA, you learn a lot of research methods. But the thing is, here, if you look at, if you're not talking about the why part, you're not establishing the cause and effect relationship, you call it descriptive. If you're trying to establish relationship between what you're studying, you call it correlational. If you're trying to throw light on the problem, we always say a problem well understood is half solved. So if your aim is to go over to throwing light on the problem, you call it the exploratory kind of a thing. If you are trying to establish relationships, tell out as to what is y, what is x, what is a, what is b in a regression equation or any other kind of variables that you study, then you call it as the explanatory part. Now, these are the typical steps in research, what Apparos are also try telling, but my idea is to draw your attention to tell that when you are trying to prepare your research design, then you make clear as to what is your sources of data, what is your sample size, what is the method of sampling that you adopt. And I would only tell you that refer to qualtrics.com, which says as to how do you design a sample size. Anything beyond 10,000, you say is infinite, less than 10,000, you call it as finite. And what are the tools of analysis? What is the scope of your data? What are the limitations? All these things you make clear in the research design, or you call it as the methodology. Then once you have done that, you get into the analysis part of it. Your data is basically, you're collecting it for the very first time to make your requirement, you're calling it as primary. Collected by somebody else, if you're trying to fine tune it to your requirement, you're calling it as secondary. Now, the thing is, there are two types of research. When you talk about social sciences, commerce and other things, there's one more evolving, which you call it as a mixed method. But this is theory what you've already learned in RMSA unit number 1. That is qualitative. It does not involve numbers. And the kind of research that sir was talking about, designing a questionnaire, Google form, I mean, those are the things what you do normally in the quantitative part. And the other one is, this is something which I want to draw your attention to. This is a prerequisite. Now, if you want to design a questionnaire, you must know how to convert an opinion into a number. You can improve something only if it can be expressed in terms of numbers. So the thing is, in the end, probably Shekhar sir will circulate a questionnaire asking you all how did Apparao sir speak, how did Sankipati sir speak, how did Patrick speak, or another session which Channappa sir would do. Is, he may ask you whatever they have said, do you agree with them? Do you strongly agree with them? I mean, you don't, agree with them or strongly don't agree with what they have said. I mean, this is something to do with a 5-point scale, which we call it as the Likert scale. Now we have two types of things, comparative. Let's say I want to compare a TVS with a Bajaj. I want to compare a Coke versus Pepsi. I want to compare Pantene with Clinic All Clear. I'm doing one-to-one comparison. Or, the reasons why you go about with buying a footwear, the reasons why you prescribe a particular internet service provider, or why do you go about with prescribing a particular restaurant, or maybe an air service provider. Let's say you have to figure out whether Indigo is good or Spice is good, or let's say Air India is good. I mean, how do you go about it telling? If you're given a list of different service providers, there are a lot of newspapers. What do you look for it? I mean, there's Deccan, there is Mint, or there's Business Standard, there is Hindu, there is Times of India, there is plethora of Telugu papers. I mean, if you're asked to rank them, on what basis do you do that? I mean, how do you do it? Just a little while ago, I was just checking that today's newspapers quote that Central University is known for 5 subjects, and they're very famous for that. And why the 5 subjects have been rated very highly. And if I go about it telling like, why do you use a soap? Why do you use a toothpaste? I mean, what is that reason that you will give more importance to? If I tell there are 60 people whom I see in the Googling a while ago, to everyone I'll give 100 rupee coin. Suppose you take a toothpaste. Do you want, to overcome bad breath? Do you want clean tooth? I mean, what exactly are you looking for when you look for using a toothpaste there? I mean, is there salt in it? Is there charcoal? What Colgate is trying to claim today. Now, what do you give more importance to in that? And each one has got a different way of giving importance. But I said I've given 100 points to everyone. That is where I talk about the constant time. Now, if you take a file with me there, and I know I like to go about with taking your feedback and arrange it from the most encouraging feedback to the most discouraging feedback. I make 11 slots, and I figure out which is more important. That is where I call it the Q sort kind of a thing there. And there could be a continuous rating, which is not just in discrete numbers, but you can have it in decimals also coming. Among the itemized, we talk about Likert, we talk about semantics, and we talk about the staple method. I said Likert is a 5-point scale: strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. Semantic is language based. So anywhere between where you talk about, let's say I visited an IKEA, I asked people like, I really was interested in it, or it was very boring. I mean, you have a difference, how do you mark it? And the opposite words that are there, if you take it in semantic differences, staple is a 10-point scale. Unlike Likert, which is 5 points, staple is a 10-point scale. And I bet that if you can read this from Naresh Malhotra, you can download it from the net as well, asking for what is measurement, scaling. If you know that, designing your questionnaire becomes easy. Your SEM end exam, you have what is called as an open-ended questionnaire. Now, the question paper is same, but each one has got a different way of expressing the answer. But if you look at your internal, you have multiple choice. You're given 4 questions, 4 options, and you have to choose one. Suppose I say dichotomous, I give you yes or no, or true or false. Or I give you a trichotomous, I say that yes, neutral, and no. I mean, how do you set the question? And how do you go about the converting the answers so that you can measure the opinion properly? For that, you require what is called as the scaling part. And very clearly, you have to know that discrete are those numbers which are without decimals, continuous are with decimals. You have to understand what is qualitative and quantitative. And in this SEM, in 4th SEM, you understand what is an attribute. things which you can measure and express in terms of numbers are called variables. If I say your personal qualities, like, you're honest, you're sincere, you're filled with integrity, you respect people, you don't have a yardstick to measure that. And that is where you use the word attribute. If you want to find relationship between numbers, you use what is called a correlation. If you want to go about with using measure the relationship between qualities, that is where you use the word association. So numbers, I've already said, they're classified broadly into nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. And probably this is stuff that I've taken it from Naresh Malhotra. It will tell you what are the descriptive and inferential statistics. This is something what you've studied in your degrees, you've studied in your third sem, and you've studied in your fourth sem. Mean is of three types. There is arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean. There are different ways that you look at. So the thing is, what tools are permissible, it will depend on the nature of data. You get it? We'll get a little more into it in trying to tell that why do we analyze data? Basically, it's to summarize the data. We are trying to identify relationship between variables. We are trying to compare the variables. We are trying to identify the difference between variables, right? Now, there are some myths which are associated. Normally what we do in our analysis, we are trying to figure out how many checked into a particular answer. I give Google Forms to my students in the internal, and it tells me which question is answered by how many students, or some question is not answered by anyone. If I want to figure out of 100 it is percentage, if I want to go about finding mean, and if I want to tell that there is one value which divides the entire set of value into two sets, you call it as a median. If I want to find the difference with the maximum, minimum, I tell you to the range. One thing I want to draw the attention of all the M.Com students here is, please do. When you design a questionnaire, you're asking about gender, age, income, caste, religion, district, and all that. You just go about with giving it that way, and you're not doing anything beyond it. I would only ask you, why don't you go about with working out the crosstab for the same questions as how a male and female vary with a response? How based on gender or based on age, based on region, based on caste, how to things vary? Now that is where you use the crosstab part. You can do it with ANOVA, chi-square, or whatever. So choosing a correct statistical test, today we have a lot of what is called as software packages. I would only urge the students, if you can learn an R tool, you can learn a Python, you can learn Excel, wonderful things you can do that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. If you have your mobile phone in your hand, download an app called Swayam and go about with getting it registered with any of the universities which are giving you a free course. Learn it up and start applying. The future is all about AI, it is all about machine language, robotics, data analytics, and if you can pick up your way of learning all these tools that are there, probably on the right path of employability skills is always put it. Now, let me just tell you as to how you would go about with working out this thing there. Normal and ordinal will give you only qualitative kind of data. Interval and ratio will give you quantitative. I would skip a few slides. And the other one to tell you that very quickly, what is parametric and what is non-parametric? I have a population. From that, I draw a sample. If I know the parent population characteristics in terms of mean, in terms of standard deviation, size, the proportion, I know the parent population characteristics. On this, if I apply statistical tool on the sample, I call it parameter. I have a sample, but I don't know to which parent population it belongs to. I don't know anything about the parent of that sample there. On such a sample, if I apply statistical tools, I call it the non-parameter. And believe me, I'm just giving you a cursory thing. You'll have to go about spending quality time and trying to figure out what is nominal, what is ordinal, what is interval, what is ratio. Because I see students, the nature of the data is nominal, ordinal, but they end up using parametric tools. Another thing, as a student, please figure out, I'm not sure as to what should be, the size of data, I said look for qualtrics.com, but the thing that you have to look for is, it is the nature of the data. If you go about plotting it on a graph, you get a normal distribution, then you are supposed to use parametric test. If the nature of the data is not a normal distribution one, then you can't apply what is called as the parametric tool, especially Z to the N, or what you learned in your syllabus there. You just look into that. There are two branches of statistics I said, wherein you do descriptive You're trying to talk about frequencies, percentages, measure of middle, that is your median, variation. It comes with standard deviation, variance, coefficient of variance. And inferential is basically non-parametric and parametric. So your qualitative can be nominal, ordinal. What is binary is yes, no, pass, fail, true, false. How do you go about analyzing those things in percentages? And your discrete is where you can't divide it into, I mean, you don't have a decimal at all. If I say how many students are there in the Zoom link, 63. It can't be 63.4 or something. If I talk about length, size, width, weight, they all come under the continuous part of it. So I told what these things are. And let me quickly get to telling that how do you choose a tool? If the nature of the data is nominal, chi-square. If the nature is based on ranking, first to figure out, I mean, you can use ordinal or non-parametric, it talks about. These are things which are there in the syllabus, mandatory test, Kruskal-Wallis test, and sign test, median test, it's all there in the fourth test. Third unit of your QTBD is all about non-parametric test, right? But you'll have to work out this to figure out whether it is useful. If it is the nature of the data is interval, and you'll ask the question, is it normally distributed? If it is yes, you'll use the parametric. If the answer is no, then it is as good as this. You start repeating the same, the ordinal test and the non-parametric test that you have. Now, this is one or two slides that I'll focus and wind up. Now, I'm drawing your attention, like most of the students get confused. What tools will I use? Most often when I come across students, they either use averages, percentages, they don't go beyond. But what is that you've studied in your third term and your fourth term? If it is a parametric test, you have three different types of t-tests. Then you call it as difference between sample mean and population mean, difference between two sample means, there is paired test or a dependent t-test. And among the vectors, there are 5 types, difference between sample population, difference between two sample means, difference between two standard errors, difference between sample proportion and population proportion, difference between the population and the sample proportion. ANOVA, there is one way, two way. How does it score over vectors and t-tests? In ANOVA, simultaneously, you can check more than 2 means, but provided the data is normal. And when you look at it, I mean, this slide, I'll share it with Shekhar and put it to the teachers or to the group there. What you would tell is the non-parametric equivalent of that is this Wilcoxon test. A non-parametric equivalent of an ANOVA is Kruskal-Wallis test. A non-parametric equivalent of a paired t-test will be Mann-Whitney or the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. So you have these things in the syllabus. One thing here, if it is parametric, it is a Pearson correlation. But if it is a non-parametric, we call it the Spearman rank correlation. All right. So make sure you're acquainted with these things there as to the suitability, the nature of your data. It is your objectives which make it. If your objective is exploratory and descriptive, that is what students are asking upper also like, is it necessary that you need hypothesis? I mean, if I want to empirically check my objectives, in that case, I need a hypothesis. If I don't have to check my hypothesis, I mean, the objectives empirically, I don't need it. It's like this. When I see something, I make a conclusion for myself. I want to know whether the conclusion I have drawn is right or wrong. I mean, the college where I work is next to the law college. I mean, I don't want to take the name. There is a big industrialist in the recent past, and there are political parties going for a slugfest saying that there must be inquiry done. And there are media groups already doing trial by media calling them a criminal. No. You know, law says a person is innocent and a person is criminal. You'll have to disprove that a person is innocent before calling him a criminal. You and I don't have a right to call somebody a criminal. It is a court of justice which has to declare that. Now, I would also take an example. You know, the Earth day is there, and we are talking about overshoot. So there is this Elon Musk saying that we will take people and make them put them on Mars. The question is, there is no life on Mars. That is a null hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis, there is life on Mars. So you are trying to work out whether you reject or accept that there is no life on Mars. So, you know, you get a little more deeper. I mean, if you can get to an ability of framing hypothesis for yourself, you know whether it is a one-tail, two-tail test, you know when to apply which test, I think you are on the right path. All right. So another thing, if you are using your thing like Excel or SPSS or any other tool there, you don't get answers. And in the class, you are doing it manually. You talk about critical value, table value. But normally you get this when you say that p-value, which is to do with probability. And normally, if I have to summarize this, I would say that it's a p-value what I get as an outcome of an Excel operation that is there when I'm doing the parametric and non-parametric test. If I get an answer which is less than 0.05, I say we go about with rejecting the null. If it is more than 0.05, we say we do not reject the null. So you know that the type 1 error, which we call it as level of significance, which is 1% or 5%, which is alpha. If you have done your third term, you know what it is to do with hypothesis testing. So it is based on that, you're talking about accepting and rejecting. So please spend little time on what is this p-value all about. And if you have to, you had a chapter on graphical representation of data. So you have to know when you're doing a data analysis, what descriptive statistics will you apply and what kind of graphs will come. I find people putting bar charts, pie charts, and things there. You figure out what is one-dimensional, two-dimensional, what is pictograms, when you have to apply which kind of graph, so that you can enhance the readability of your report. So this is one last slide, and I close it down with that. To tell you, these are the commonly used statistical tests. Look at it, the nature of data, if it is continuous, categorical is it is nominal and ordinal. And here you look at how many variables you are trying to take. You know, if you say there is sample mean and population mean, or if you take more than one sample mean, more than two groups. If the nature of the data is normal, if the nature of the data is it's not normal, that is when you say it's skewed. It's skewed on the left side or the right side. You see the equivalence, like when I talk about a two sample t-test, man with me, one sample t-test, time rank, pair t-test, Wilcox score, or you have ANOVA test, which is Kruskal balance, Pearson test, you do a spearman. Maybe this is something which you do for the nominal and ordinal data. Chi-square test is most often used there, McNamara test, and the other things that you have. So there's a lot of other things, but I would leave it here and stop my presentation at this point. And I didn't want to overshoot the time that is given to me. So I would ask maybe Peter sir is there around. I think he's gone for lunch.
No, I'm here.
You're done. Thank you so much. I'm done. And I know it was tough for you to go with rambling. So I thought I didn't want to take more time just to give a glimpse, telling about the nature of data. How do you choose a tool? What tools you got to use? And don't go about with just giving a simple report with only percentages and means there. Apply what you've studied. That is where you get to go about with that is a real proof that you have knowledge of what you studied in your RMS and irrespective of you're doing it in marketing, finance, HR, whichever field that you choose, there is plethora of topics which Shekhar sir will be discussing with you at the end of the session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chanapa sir, and all of those.
Patrick, really you need much time, but anyhow, nice thing. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick ji. One or two questions can I ask?
Yes, why not? Yes.
Yeah, Shruti Sethi, she is asking, sir, can we choose topics from corporate and international finance?
Why not? It is like, as long as it is commerce, as long as it is business, go ahead. But don't go about with, I mean, if you can relate it with commerce and with business, welcome. But if you can perceive that it is not related with business and commerce, there, I don't think you should go for that topic.
Yeah, and Vimal Singh, second question. Vimal Singh is asking, how many responses should be collected and what is the sample size?
Okay, I would only tell you that if you can go to a website called QUALTRICS.com, www.QUALTRICS.com. It has got a sample size calculator. Anything above 10,000 is called infinite. Anything below 10,000 is called finite. I think it has got a chart which will tell you that if anything is above 10,000, you should collect from 384. I mean, you may ask MCOM students, should I collect 384? With Google form, I think it should be very easy, provided it is primary data. If it is secondary data, you have a limitation. You can't create data. Within whatever is available, you have certain things which is called as qualities of a good sampling method. Representative, adequate, accessible. You'll have to look at those qualities and decide what is adequate.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick ji.
Thank you, Anna.
from your responses. In busy schedule, actually, you may be busy with the university works and so many things, but
I'm your coordinator. I have a CD class at 1:30 now.
yeah, spending your time is very much
Thank
thankful
you,
to
sir.
the
Thank you.
department and behalf of all the participants.
Tenappa sir
Yeah.
and Gajendra Babu sir and all of them to bring the students. I mean, we have done it last time for the UG students, then for the teachers, and this is third in the series, which is for the PG students. That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Sir, thank you.
Yeah, really, you have done great job.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So according to the schedule, sir, now we'll be having,
No lunch break, Shekhar.
yeah,
So we will go ahead with our program.
yeah, that's what I'm telling, sir. So now we'll go to the, yeah, before completing, I would request to the head of the department, Senior Professor D. Chennappa sir, to give the presentation about research design and other things, sir. Kindly take over the session, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, then fine. How the students are there, I did not know. But I can brief, very, very brief within 10 to 15 minutes. And then again, great job. What we expected that Professor Indrakanti Shekhar has already highlighted the titles or allotted the titles. And again, he is going to brief any doubt if you have it. Then since morning, come back to the title, since morning, when Professor Appara, we elaborated much. Then even Dr. Kankipati Srinivas Rao, how the review of literature. Then the Patrick is now scaling and all other factors, how to test it, how to write, many things. He told it, but my point is there exactly the binding part. The students should bind the project and submit it to the colleges in terms to the universities. Before binding, what they supposed to do, what they supposed to not to do. I may be scrolling the PPTs, you need not worry about the PPTs. Just listen to me that what you supposed to do, what you supposed to not to do then. So fine, then the Professor Appara stated that why this project means you should get the certain fundamental knowledge in particular topic. Fundamental, solid knowledge. If you practically application of any subject, definitely you are very, very strong and you are the master of the commerce. You know now you are not the bachelor of the commerce. So you want to make it a bachelor master, therefore you should have some fundamental, basic, solid information of particular topic. Therefore, these projects are very, very important. Then this is the project title cover page. Again, my dear students and even the faculty members, some of the members are also there in the title pages. Please don't do any spelling mistakes. Please recheck it and recheck it. This could be the format. Okay, title should be there. Again, association to which institution should be there, and the batch number should be there. Particularly student name without any spelling mistakes, and supervisor name. If any college logo is there, college logo and college address, that should be presented on first paper of the project. It may be allowed even spiral binding and hard binding, soft binding, any binding is permitted, but don't do any spelling mistakes and don't leave the about you forgetting to write about your roll number, forgetting to write about your supervisor, forgetting to write about the college name and other factors. Please be careful about it. Then coming to that, even Professor Appara also indicated that now this is who are attending, they are going to get the e-certificate, workshop online, MCOM project report to e-certificate, they are going to get it. Once we send the link to the feedback, after the feedback, immediately you are going to get the certificate. Freely how to download, that is also in multicolor. Multicolor also you can download, that is also in E4 size. Easily it can be inserted into the project. So those who are not attended, again, they have to see some other cases. But again, as I told that internship should be there, but again, Chairman Board of Studies, he stated that it is a volunteer, not this academic year is compulsory. It is a true also. This academic year just now we initiated 3-4 meetings we had it, then we want to experiment it. In the experiment it, as a chairman cannot take any decision. After chairman taking decision, dean has to take, dean after the again standing committee of the university. So it is a process. It is under the pipelines there, but as of now, the students, my appeal to all the students, And again, I requesting to all the faculty members, try to send the students at least one shop, one day. Suppose in front of the college, one pawn shop is there, then you can go and sit it and look about how many persons are coming, what kind of persons are coming, what age people are eating, what kind of pawn they are eating. Like smallest iota must be there in their internship. Smallest things we are expecting from to the students, and definitely faculty members to encourage them to go for to the internship. If they go in bigger way, there is no objection at all. Again, a student has to give the declaration stating that that could be their original project. And sometimes again, students, they are mistaken. They cannot properly edit the declaration. While not properly editing declaration, similarly, they have the other's name. Others name also they get oversight. They did not see that the other student name. But immediately the examiner will identify that it is a copied or it is a brought from to the Xerox center. Therefore, what I appeal to all the students, the declaration please type by yourself, stating that it could be my original. Again, the certificate, again, here great, we are the part of the game by the supervisor, faculty members, and the students also. They will type the most of the cases, they will type the supervisor name, either designation also they will type mistake, or the spelling also mistakes, college name is also mistake. Some definitely they do the mistakes. So here is our job is there, the whatever the certificate, that certificate stated that my student who worked under my guidance has done original work. That again we have to give the certain certification to the student. Though it is MCOM student, there is a format. These are all formats are available. So in that format, to kindly recheck. Okay, then again, the students, when the project day Viva is there, that time they are moving around to take the signature of the head, again take the signature of principal, take the signature of internal examiner, external examiner, again and principal and principal. So then at that time somebody might be absent, somebody and leave is there. Again they make it a you and try, and they face the lot of difficulties, and they will get the certain blood pressure, and not only they got the blood pressure, they are transferring to the faculty members also. Sir, this is only last time, just you sign it. They are not do like that. Take 1 month before signature of your internal examiner, then take the signature of the head, take the signature of the principal, then take the signature of the external examiner who will come on the examination day. So these are all the shows that the commitment of the students. We are expecting that the students should do proper manner. Whatever things I said, doing by the student, is it a difficulty for them? It is not at all difficult. They have to do that. Only willingness is required. Only they should say that yes, it is a possibility. If it is there, then they can do it. They mentioned that no, sir. Everything, as I told that in my inaugural address, passive learners. Are you attending the online workshop? We are attending, sir. Are you not attending? Not attended, sir. You have your knowledge, gained it, sir, like that you gained it. Everything is very passive. As no active, they are not active participation is missing in all the courses. Therefore, I appeal to all the students, please be active. You are for what we are doing exercise since morning. Not only since morning, 8 days we have been working to provide quality education to you, provide the quality project to you then. So you have to work very hard, harder than to us. Then again in one line, simple one line also I mentioned that are dedicated to my mother, father, brother, friend. Okay, all and putting through certain flowers, all other things you do. My dear friend, don't do that. Even the faculty member is also there. Please don't encourage them to do that. Again, even the upper also stated that the format abstract should be there after the certificate and signing all the things. Index must be there after the index. Abstract, introduction, background, methodology, result, discussion, conclusions, and recommendations should be there. Okay, then I would like to focus on to the abstract. Abstract should be the half page or not more than 1 page. And abstract should come always in the first. For example, in the given slide also, as I mentioned that demonetization, I mentioned that. In that demonetization, how your abstract should be there. Abstract should be there. Demonetization introduced in the November 2016 is there. Two high valued currencies are banned and introducing about to the new currencies. That could be called as a demonetization. Then That's the one sentences that was introduced in 2016. Again, they mentioned that they have banned the high currency values. Again, government encourages to go for the digital payment. That could be one or two lines in abstract about the demonetization. Again, you can mention that now the objectives, you have to write it in one sentence in abstract itself. How did you write in abstract itself means because of the government introducing to the demonetization, encouraging to the digital payment. Now question is there, my project objective is to identify the users of the digital payment and the satisfaction of the digital payment by the customers. Who are user, why they are using, are they satisfied or not? Based upon to this research questions, you have to write it into the abstract. Then to get their satisfaction about online payment or currency digital payment. Again, one more line also you are writing that this study prepared based upon primary data. Fine. Again, another line you are mentioned that most of the customers, they are trying to go for online payment, but they like the only physical currency movement. Enough. That could be your abstract for writing about the demonetization. Within the 3 or 4 lines, you have to conclude it. That could be the abstract should be there. That should be in past tense. As I mentioned, that problem you have to state, methodology you have to state it, and then the conclusion also you have to state it. Am I right, Shekhar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm clearly audible. Then, okay, fine. You got the abstract should be very simple, not to any bigger one. Easy to identify, easy to read by the persons. Just you can see this. The abstract is written by this author Jean and Larson. In only 4 lines, he has written it. Very interesting. 4 lines only he has written it. Again, after abstract, then we are talking about the introduction. Introduction means, again, I have to mention about it. And then the same abstract, you can copy the same lining also. The government of India introduced the demonetization in the November 2016. That is introduction is there. But they have banned the currency and encouraging to the digital payment. That could be your introduction. Again, you can write it. Some other thing is there, and you can in introduction also you can add some more points is there. This is not the first time in India for introducing demonetization. It was happened when the Morarji Desai Janata government was there at the time, 1979 also. Earlier in India, they adopted the demonetization, but demonetization had not given any expected results. In this direction, we would like to take up the impact of the demonetization on the customer satisfaction. Likewise, simple thing, a simple crystal clear, you have to come. When did you come means if you have the interest, if you have the concern, you have logically you want to develop it, that is only the possibilities there. In that mode, you have to write the introduction. Okay. Then look about the other cases. Background also, as I told that, what is the background means why you want to study for it, what is the need and importance of the study, you have to mention it. Need and importance of the study, you have to mention demonetization is going to affect each and every individual. Do you know that? It is affecting poor people, rich people, and richest people who are having black money, white money, no money people also is going to be affecting. Therefore, it is the order of the day we have to study. And again, illiterates can easily go with the online payment, or is there any problems for going to the online payment, we have to study. That's you have to develop the background. Again, thanks to this Srinivas Rao, review of literature wonderfully stated that. Okay, then whenever you are going for to this project report is there, immediately when Professor Apparao to Patrick to Srinivas Rao to me to again Professor Indrakanti Shekhar will state that objective should be there in your project. There may not be hypothesis, but at least objective should be there. How you are going to be formulation of the objectives, how you are the formulating about the objectives are very, very important. As I told that, what is the objective of the demonetization? To discourage the physical currency circulation and to encourage online payment. Encouraging about the online payment. That could be their objectives. What is your objectives? What is your objective? To study the currency circulation in India through online or offline. Whatever the broad field is there, you have to identify that. Again, after the whatever the broad field is there, we have to dissect it, make it smaller or sub areas or other sub areas. Unless until if you don't make all sub areas, you cannot do about it. Again, select what is the most interesting part out of the many factors. Out of the many factors, the demonetization I have taken as one of the examples. Under the demonetization, most of the effective factor is there. Even today also, some of the people still they are having about old currencies. They are unable to exchange it. And based upon to that, you have to raise certain questions. Is he viable or is it not viable? Or likewise, you have to raise certain questions and you have to formulate the objectives. Before formulating the objective, you have to double check by yourself. And don't say that somebody will look into that. So in that mode, you have to formulate the objectives. Again, while formulating the objectives, also to describe, to find out, to ascertain, to compare, to again to demonstrate also, you can use it. These are all the factors you can use it and you can make it. As I told you that there is again preparatory phrasing of the research questions and the research objective. There is a difference between the questions, research questions and research objectives, but without changing any meaning on it. Now just look up at the one or two examples I have stated it. Okay, why have organizations introduced early retirement? Why they have used as a research questions? Again, coming to the same content without missing anything, they formulated an objective to identify organization objectives for introducing to the retirement scheme. Is there any changes? Am I lost the meaning? Am I changed the concept? Not at all. The same thing is there. The same thing I put up in question format and same thing I put up into the objective format. Likewise, you have to format another one also. What are the consequences of early retirement of these schemes? That is a question. What are? Again, coming to the object, to describe, to explore. This could be objective. You have to formulate the objectives. Even whatever the small or biggest title is there, you have to work out it. If you are working properly, definitely all people will encourage to you that. Again, as I've been telling that you have to double check, triple check. You have to read it and then you have to submit it. Again, then the thing is there. These are the flow of the preparation of your project report is there. First to identify the any topic is there. The second one is make it as a subsection, dissect it. Under the dissect is also, as I mentioned that, suppose introduction is one chapter, second chapter should be the profile of the particular issues. Earlier, somebody they raised a question about the real estate. So you can talk about how the real estate is emerging, what are the RERA is there, what is the government regulation is, what are the land regulatory act has come up. If they can put up into this under to the second chapter theoretical background of this real estate. That could be while put up in also make it as a section wise, how the urban is there, how the rural is there, how that is going to be effect about it. Again, antecedents also very, very important. Antecedents means this real estate, you are not only studying to the by you about the real estate. Many people already studied, their conclusions is also there, by practical realities also there. That you have to think about it. Again, as I told that before formulation of the objectives, you have to raise the research questions. And all the questions you have to WH questions, you have to put it based upon the WH questions, you have to formulate the objectives, determine, find out, ascertain, analysis, those factors you write it. Again, the sixth step is there, make sure that whatever the objective you have formulated, that the objectives are you fulfilling or not? Objectives work is involved or not? Whatever the time available within the time are you doing, or going on, you are doing not at all, you are doing at all. What are the financial resources are there? Any technical expertise is required. You have to check about it. Again, as I've been telling that my entire all slides, double check up. Then these are the hypotheses. You know that you have completed the third semester. The third semester research methodology and statistical analysis also there. You know what is the hypothesis. Okay, but I would like to state that the hypothesis should be very, very clear. No ambiguity, no confusion. Hypothesis must be testable. Hypothesis must be answerable to the objectives and research questions. Hypothesis to be justifying about your studies. What is the justifying your studies? You made it as a hypothesis there, demonetization negatively affecting Indian economy. Based upon the second data, using about certain financial ratio analysis, you have to state that yes, negatively affected or positively affected, you have to come with the conclusion. Okay, that could be justification of the study. Based upon the justification of the study, you have to give certain conclusions. You have to draw certain conclusions. So any project report must be concluded. Without concluding, there could not be any project report at all. First chapter, introduction, includes research methodology. Second chapter is, I can mention that theoretical background or profile of the company. Third chapter, it is almost all data and analytics. Okay. Then in that data objectives, how you are going to be molded, how you are going to be answering, how you are going to be finding, you have to mention the factors. This is a methodology Professor Appara also stated. Okay, particularly period of the study, scope of the study. Is it clear or not clear? Then even Patrick mentioned that nominal or ordinals. Okay, they use about the standard formula to get when the population is infinite is there. There, this is another area is there. It could be chapterization. Again, I made it as 6 chapters. You can make it as 5 chapters. You can make it as 4 chapters also. Review of literature is one, theoretical background one, data analysis and interpretation is one. Major findings also another one I mentioned. But again, I would like to mention that certain important observations. What are the important observations means? For single variables, male and female, you are interviewing about 10 people, 10 males, 10 boys, 10 girls you are interviewing, and that could be only 3 columns table. For the 3 column table, again you are preparing graph, again you are making it as a frequency, again you are making it as a cumulative frequency, again you are calculating something. Don't do that at all. Give away about the graphs at all. Just to put up the table, you want to write something, you can write it, otherwise ignore it. Okay, for the same thing, don't prepare a graph, don't prepare a table, don't prepare figures. Again, don't write in 2 or 3 sentences. That is not the correct at all. Okay, but what we are expecting that the small data, it is a presented in 2 by 2 table also. We have to explain the results, increased or decreased. Is there an impact? Is there or no impact? Is there? Again, you can compare to the earlier studies, compare to the literature studies. You have to come out with that. That could be your original research work. That could be your original research work is there. Again, another thing is there. Most of the students, what they do then, they don't discuss with anybody else. Simply alone, they will go to the Xerox center. They will get the Xerox. They will get the Xerox, and the final day they will come out. Final day they will come out it. Okay. After the final day, they will come out when that is a examination day is there. That time they will come again. All the exercises they will do it. They want to complete the day. They want to go away. That is not at all correct at all. That is not at all. You discuss with your peer group. You discuss with your close friend. You discuss with your supervisor. You discuss with your principal. You discuss with your HOD. In the private colleges are many counselors are also there. You discuss with them. In fact, you can discuss with your father and mother also. They are the better judging guide than anybody else. So please discuss with your peer group. Again, identify what is your strength and weaknesses. And then you have to come out certain conclusions, certain recommendations are necessary for it. Again, don't go with the visual designs, graphics. Kankipati Srinivas now come with the very big designs. Of course, that may be a nice thing is there, but for BCom student, MCom students, a simple plain paper is also be enough, and the white and black printout is also be enough. Again, I would like to mention that what we are looking, what the university is looking to award good ranking or good marks out of 100. It has to be have clear thoughts. Are you, as I mentioned, that demonetization, is it good for the country? Not good for the country. You have to come with the explanatory mode. Again, it should be a self-explanatory project. Once you submitted, every time you may not be there. After next day also, I can pick up it. I can check it. That should be represent. That should be represent about it. Okay, that should represent about. Again, it should be completed one, and self-explanatory must be there. Comprehensive but not compact. Okay, of course, you are a MCom student, not comprehensive, at least reasonably readability is necessary. Then it should be accurate in all aspects. I am talking about digitalization or demonetization, but somebody talking about GST. That should not be accurate at all. GST is a separate topic, and demonetization is separate. Where it is there, you can think about it. And suitable format for the readers. Whatever the suitable format. Now, what is your reader target group is there? Reader target group is most probably faculty members. And up to that extent, you can prepare it, but not so loose, but not so too complex. Once you're preparing complex, but you cannot understand anything. That should not be there. That should not be there. Okay. Then again, most of the cases, even some Srinivas Rao also mentioned that I am doing it because of I observed. Don't use any I, we, he. Otherwise, it is better you can use about it. Okay. And then, okay, fine. Then reference also Professor Apparao mentioned. Source of the data also Apparao mentioned. And good characteristic report means very clear. Simple should be there. If it is simple, everybody will read it and examiner will give good marks about it. Okay. And then research should do topic to whatever the topic is there. Only that should be prospective, that certain implications must be there. Certain implication must be there. There are no implication, there is no perspective for that particular topic. Don't pick up the topic at all. Again, while pick upping a topic and while doing the project report, certainly there should be a problem. If there is no problem at all, don't create a problem. Again, whenever you are identifying the problem, better to come with a certain conclusions. Whenever the theory is there, again, convert it into the discussions. Any modifications are required, please make it. Whatever the research methodology you are adopting, that methodology must be, that research methodology must be result-oriented methodology there. So you are also, I also in the part of the ocean, but we will make it as a small canals. And then again, it is also be like MCOM students. Now, whatever our experiment and our experiment is there, at least we are expecting very purified 1 drop of water from among all the 800 plus students. At least some small project report, original project report, we would like to see that. With this background, with the intention and contentions, we have been exercising and hoping and trusting and instructing to our faculty member, try to see that at least we can get the original project outcome. With this background, my Professor Indrakanti Sekhar might be very, very happy because of early closing. And want to give the timings to the title allocations and your guidelines. And thank you one and all very much. And my dear students, and particularly Gajendra Babu, my Jansi madam, and many faculty members, they have come in and again they have log out and log in, log out, log in. Then, but constantly these people are monitoring, controlling. And really, I also thank the Patrick Apparao sir, Gangadhar, and my special thanks to Professor Indrakanti Sekhar, coordinator. 3-4 days continuously is working and continuously is encouraging, continuously is monitoring and supporting, and effectively conducting this online workshop for project preparation for update. And I request you to do that, to try to see that the titles also be allotted. I have seen the Excel sheet also. I have seen the Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet also, very systematically, professionally, titles are allotted to each and every college. I'm requesting to all the faculty members, try to see that whatever the titles allotted by the department, they can execute it. Within that, suppose I have seen that someone Sangareddy College, 40 students are there, 40 titles are allotted. Within the 40, you can exchange it. Within the 40 also, you can exchange it, but not go behind that. 40 titles means almost all, that's enough for it. Again, anything is there, we are always welcome. I am available in the department. Sekhar is 24 available in WhatsApp, online, email, anything, or Gajendra backend is also. YouTube, now the link is going to be shared. YouTube link is also going to share after the lecture also. We have not listened for entire 6 hours. They can listen about it. With this, I'm very happy. I feel it's a grand success. With your all support, again, we will take up many innovative programs. So many this kind of programs with your support and encouragement for the benefit of the students to improve the quality of the commerce education. With this background, thank you one and all. Over to the coordinator, Professor Indrakanti Sekhar.
So thank you very much, sir. Really impressed because we have seen many things which is not covered earlier. The drop of water and originality of project report and your initiations, everything it was seen, sir.
Yes.
Then there is one request from you, sir. One is, can I share the feedback link for certificate downloading?
Yes. Why not? Immediately.
That is one. And another one, shall we break for lunch and we'll
continue? No break.
30-15
minutes you can.
Okay. Right, sir.
How much time it will take, Sekhar, for you?
10 to 15 minutes, sir. That's all.
Enough. We'll continue it.
Yeah.
I will be there.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So we'll continue because I'm just sending the feedback link in the chat box. It was sent. Then I can ask all the students to give the feedbacks so that you can get downloaded your certificate, and that certificate will send it to your registered email IDs. Now that certificate, once you downloaded the certificate, you just get it print out, original print with color, and you just keep into the record book. That is one important issue. And another, the titles which are already allotted to the colleges, just I wanted to scroll this, then it will be posted into the PG colleges group also. You are all guides, teachers who are guiding to you, definitely they will share these topics to you, so that the topics can be selected by the students. Just a moment, I'll share the,
My
yes,
my PPT should be deleted.
yes. I think it is visible. I think my complete screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Complete screen is visible.
Yeah. This Excel file we worked out with so many aspects. See here, the topics which was collected by HOD, Head Department of Commerce, from different faculty members. It is a running topics and very emerging topics. So it was given allotment for each and every college with different areas of projects. You can see the number one, employees performance appraisal as a tool for the organization growth. It was given 1013, University College of Women, College for Women. This is all College of Women. Then PG College Secunderabad and Kasturba Gandhi. The college codes also given in column number C. Column number A is serial number, B is college name, C is the college code. That is your hall ticket number of the student, first 4 digits. And D column is college name. So these are all different topics randomly allotted to each and every college. So this according to your strength. For example, Kasturba Gandhi, we have 24 students. So 24 topics have allotted. Like that, IAMC, Khairtabad, there are 14 students, topics are allotted randomly. Like that, Princeton College, SD Signodia, Social Welfare Sangareddy College, and Government College for Begumpet, Indira Priyadarshini, Tara Government College, Sangareddy, Haindavi College, whoever is reported, students, whoever is registered. And that day we have conducted faculty development program, whoever the guides and teachers have attended. So for them, it was registered candidates, it was allotted all the topics to the students. So as sir is rightly said, out of, for example, this Vanita Mahavidyalaya, there are 12 topics have allotted. So this can be rotated among the students because there are 12 students only. So any topic can be given to any student. If one student is not comfortable with that topic, that can be exchanged with other student. So that is the provision is given by this sir. So maybe probably 99% there is no exchange from other college, because this intention is not to copy from anywhere. So within the college only, this can be exchanged by the students for completion of their projects. This is UCCBM OU, our college. And all colleges, SAP also, Vikarabad also is allotted 13 topics. And it was allotted Sardar Patel College, Sai Niketan, Stanley, Sujata, Srivani, Jahanavi, ARC College, Pratibha College, Government Degree College, Patancheru, Wesley PG College. We have Wesley co-education and also we have women's, both it was allotted. Spandana College, St. George College, Pragna College, Government Degree College, Gajwel, BVR Degree PG College, Siddipet, Sri Vignan College, Shamshabad, and Ramchandra College, only 2 students it was allotted. Keshav Memorial also allotted, Nava Chaitanya, and Government Degree College, Siddipet is the biggest college. There are 50 students are there. So
City College is not mentioned, sir. Government City College.
Government City College is here. Kajendra Babu garu chusara meeru? What is your code? College code, can you mention?
1084, sir, 1084.
1084. Because according to the serial order, 1085 is there.
Oh,
First top.
Here it should come because 1085 started here, Government PG College, Begumpet.
Yes, sir.
ఇక్కడ రావాలండి 1084 మరి I'll check it once. Maybe
Okay, thank you.
strength we could not get from the college, maybe. ఇక్కడ ఉందండి 1084 ఉంది ఇక్కడ. Yeah.
Yes, yes, sir.
Government City College, it is there.
Yes, sir. So show from the top, sir, because other colleges also can see in the YouTube itself.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So this is 1084. This is all City College.
So above college also, sir. Above college before from the beginning, sir. Above
This
some
is-
college.
beginning to ending again.
Okay, right.
The AMS from
Slowly you
starting.
can see.
This is 1058 AMS College. And also AV College 1053, Aurora College 1051, Bhavans College 1072, Ambedkar College, VR Ambedkar College 1076. And we have 1079 DVM College. And Kranti Degree College also is here. Need to check once. Maybe sometimes when we allotted, they have reported there is no candidates are like that. It was made some of topics have not allotted. So like this government city college, everything is there. If any college is not there, you please report us. Accordingly, we'll make the allotment. So it was a great resource that our HOD Chennappa sir have collected around 900 plus topics. So we have a lot of topics are available so that if you reported any college, we'll reallocate. But this will be very transparent. Anybody can see. These topics should not be repeated by any other students because once it is allotted to the college, then this cannot be seen. This cannot be given to any other colleges. And one more information, it was already mentioned in the faculty development program. One faculty member has raised a question. Sir, you have mentioned some company's project report, or you have mentioned some case studies or something specific. If it is a specific, sometimes if you are not able to get it to the data, the main title should be same, but you can go for some other, which is very convenient to collect the data that can be done. So that is the information which was given by our HOD in the faculty development program. So definitely we can share the information, but the main title cannot be changed. The topic of the title cannot be changed. You can go for any case study, you can go for any data collection area. If it is given Secunderabad, you can go to Hyderabad. If it is given Hyderabad, you can go some other place. So, but major title should be continued. That is the major intention of the department, that a student can get original report. So our intention, final intention is original report should be brought up. And as already mentioned, one coin of the information that the fees are increased from the university, higher education. We can't talk about that because it's a government policies, that is a different platform. But our duty as a teachers and students, as our duty is to strengthen the MCOM, make the quality of the education. So if you are a specialist in your project report, tomorrow you will become a specialist in your field. Just like a doctor becomes ENT specialist, cardiac specialist, or nurse specialist, like that. If you complete your MCOM with one special project, you will become a specialist tomorrow. You can settle down with that project, or sometimes you can take that inspiration of that topic, you can go for some other. So this is the intention. Creating a specialization of the student after completing the Master of Commerce is the major intention. So take up as a serious case and you just get a experience from this topic so that you will be the specialist in your topic. So that is the intention. And another information, as we know, the new education policy is saying that every student should have the specialization report writing skills, and they should have the creation of one particular project. If you go to the private companies, government companies, anywhere, the task will be given as a shape of project. Definitely you should have the skills of preparing the project. So we are very lucky because of technology. We have computer, how to download the apps, how to make the sales, purchase, Amazon, everything we are understanding. But only lacking of writing of report, the writing of incidents, events, that is very important, which can be useful for the growth of that particular area. So that is the reason why the new education policy and our department and everybody nowadays it is initiating to complete project reports. So take it as your special case, like a ENT specialist or something. After completing your MCOM, your field is so and so, marketing or maybe finance, or we have many areas, taxation, banking, organization management, finance, accounting, many topics are there. You just go into touch with that, get a specialization. And one more information that finally that some people are asking, sir, these are all some critical how to do, and sometimes of course all the speakers have already given information, but main information is if you take one topic, if you go and download the annual reports of one company, 4 years, for example, 2 years annual report have downloaded, you can do many areas, like you can make the analysis of accounting, analysis of finance, capital, HR practices, performance, Camel model, you can do SWOT analysis, you can do cost analysis, you can do APC analysis, you can do ZBB analysis, many things you can do. So one report is enough to download, and you can do all this 5 to 7 projects you can do. So that is one information which you can do. And another, sorry, said, you just go into the opposite to your shop, opposite to your college, opposite to your home, whatever business concern, pawn shop or anything, you just observe that how the profit are generating by them, how many shops are there at the way from your college to home. You can observe how many business concerns are there, what is the margin of that. For example, only Kirana shops, 5 to 10% is the margin. Then find out how they are making a sales. That is enough. You can gather the 45 pages project report is excellent, genuine report. So that is the reason we are advising you should have the skills of identifying major impacts so that you can do better. That is the intention of improvement of this project report. Definitely, I hope people can do better. And one more information, some people are asking because feedback link is not working or something. So the feedback form is already opened. So 100 feedbacks at a time it will receive. Once 100 is exhausted, again I need to open the link. So that is one continuously I'm doing, don't worry. But only thing is you have to download at this moment is better. If you make the forms, definitely you will get it certificates. So anything more, if you have any doubts, you can ask me because HOD sir is also available. Any doubts, anything you can raise, or you can ask through Gajendra Babu sir. You can also give feedback.
Yeah, Gajendra Babu, could you address? Could you give your message or ideas?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So thank you, sir. First of all, I thank Usman University Department of Commerce, especially Senior Professor D. Chennappa sir, BOS Chairman, Aparo sir, Patrick sir, Inderkanti sir, Naresh sir, Ravi sir, all the professors for giving me basically opportunity to involve in this program. This is a very wonderful program, sir. In fact, this will be most beneficial to the MCOM students, not only MCOM, even PhD students also get benefited based on this session, sir. Very wonderful inputs are given by all the resource persons, especially by Aparo sir, Srinivas sir, Patrick sir, and Chennappa sir. And nice thing is you have taken a very meticulous care in identifying the topics and allotting the topics. This is like taking care of. It shows how Department of Commerce Usman University is working, how they are very careful about development of the academics, especially Commerce Education Department. And we are hoping, sir, many new courses to come in the BCom and MCom. And thank you for giving the opportunity, and thank you, one and all, sir. Thank you, sir. All the best to the MCom students.
Yeah, thank you, Gajendra. Anybody can unmute by yourself and you can express. Anybody can, who are into the Zoom platform, they can unmute. Any faculty members, so they can expect, even Dr. Jansi.
So good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam.
So, yeah, sir, I think this is the first time where these sessions have been and there was a going to happen and changes will be implemented. Very good for Incom.
Voice
And I thank Jennifer sir, Head of Commerce.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Anybody else is there? Otherwise, I request, thank you, Gajendra. Thank you, Jansi. I request our coordinator.
Thank you very much.
Oppose the vote of thanks and bless the students and instruct them come with original project.
Thank you, sir. So what we have mentioned since the morning, 10 o'clock, the speakers of Apparao sir, Senior Professor Apparao sir and Professor Gangadhar sir and Professor Patrick sir and also our beloved HOD, Senior Professor Dr. Chennappa sir, D. Chennappa sir, because sometimes when we talk about D is compulsory. So dynamic personality of our department. So now onwards, we'll be having a lot of information which can be initiated from the department. So all the people, you can participate whenever the program links online, offline, whatever the things. So better to participate and make use of the department resources like Apparao sir and Patrick sir. Not only that, we have Gajendra Babu sir and we have Kankipati Srinivas and many people who is from the commerce department. Definitely they will be sharing their ideas, and that all we should make utilization, and we should compete with along with the professional courses like CA, ICW and other things. So it was shown in the many advertisement like Navaratna companies, Maharatna companies. It was written, it was given advertisement and recruitment like MCOM / CA / ICW. There is a lot of placements which are given equal to the professional courses. So if you want to compete with them, definitely we need to have some more quality of study. That is not only project, we have intensive and many things are coming. And now the people who are from CA, ICWA, they are very interested to join again back to MCOM because they are going from the BCom and they are completing professional courses and they are joining back to the MCOM again because of these are all advantages and qualification which is from the higher education like PhD and MPhil, and also they are going for Navaratna companies with Master of Commerce. These are all the trend is coming back. So it is our strength. Definitely we need to make it the purposeful of this course, making with a specialist in one subject. So that is the intention. Definitely all the people can make utilize of these opportunities. So only thing, I think many people, it is shown very clearly. Just I wanted to show you how it is going on. The people, how they are accepting their feedbacks. You can see. Now, I think Chennappa sir can see 1,181 responses.
Oh, great.
So minute to minute, they are giving their responses and they are downloading their all certificates, sir. It is a proof that 1,184 at this moment. And also many people are getting downloaded certificates, and we will also see the view in the sheet. Also we can see how many are downloaded. There is a clear evidence then how many are participated, how many are downloaded, very clear. So that tomorrow student without certificate, he cannot complete their projects because it is evidence certificate downloaded, everything is recorded. So hope the people are very good to participate in this patiently since morning 10 to 2 o'clock at this time. Happy that sharing this knowledge. We'll meet again, and thank you one and all. Particularly our HOD who is initiated all this program, who is directed, because we expected this is on offline. Then because of so many reasons, now H1, N1, N2, N3, many viruses are so many problems are there. So sir is at least we should initiate online. So that is the opportunity. Definitely we are hope this is successfully conducted, sir, because here you can see the sir how number is going on 1,194. So the people are getting downloaded certificates, and we can also download this report completely.
Yes.
How many are got registered, how many are got participated, and how many downloaded certificate. Everything is very clear, sir. Hope our students are doing better. So thank you one and all, particularly even students also, because since morning they are sitting just like me, without moving from the chair. So thank you one and all.
Thank you, Varandal. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, shall we close the program, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, you can.
Okay.
And
sir. Shall I close?
particularly, yeah, I'm also thankful. Thank you for the Gajendra Babu Garu, because hosting all this technology support and everything.
No, sir.
Thank
It's
you,
a
sir.
most pleasureful, sir. I am also thankful to you, sir.
And you including YouTube link. It is a live
Yes.
stream. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
Yeah. After completing this program, also you can do the feedbacks and get certificates. No issue.
Okay.
Once it is closed, live streaming also you can do, because link is already shared. Link is already there. And if you want, that link also can copy into the PG group. So teachers can share the link to the students so that they can download certificate today. Okay, sir?
Feedback link is also shared in the YouTube live streaming, sir. Students can also take from the YouTube live streaming also. It is already in the
Yes.
comment section of the YouTube.
Yes, sir. Because it will be tallying, sir, because number of student registered, participated, and certificates. So no other extra person will not come. That is one important issue is available with us. So we'll make it systematically. Definitely, we'll get benefit for the specific persons, not everybody as like just like that. So thank you, sir. Thank you for program and everything. So now we are going for shutdowning this program. Thank you.